Hello, welcome. Oh, sorry, I was muted. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my talk show. I'm your host, Owen Rebel, back at again for another interview. This is interview 294, I believe, last time I checked. And hopefully, you guys enjoy it. Just a quick reminder: if you have any questions, please use the exclamation point questions in the chat, in the Twitch chat. If you ever want to have a submit a question to myself or Dinky, because if you ask questions, I'm not gonna remember in an hour. I'm just being honest. So if you want to have a question, write it down. Or go to that Google form, write it down there. Then in about an hour or so, we'll answer your questions. And then also, if you're ever curious who my guest is tonight, you can put exclamation point guess with an S. That goes to Dinky's Twitter and his Patreon. But anyway, without further ado, let's introduce our guest, Dinky, coming from behind the curtains. Hey! Welcome, welcome.
Oh, what's up, Rebel?
What's up, man?
What'd you say? 294 times you've interviewed people? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's correct. I've run this show for over 3 years, so 3.5 almost, I think, something like that.
Very impressive. Well, I'm glad to be here. It's
Yeah.
a wonderful set.
Thank you. It was Legends himself over almost 3 years ago. I think he made it I think it was done in like June or July of 2020. Yeah. Sorry, that's like 3 years. Sorry, my brain's a little fried. Yeah, something like that. So that's how long I've been.
As a world creator myself, I love. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love Legends' work. Legends is like one of the best. He's been around forever, making so many awesome worlds.
Oh yeah. I had an opportunity to commission him years ago, though he's a very busy man, unfortunately. So it is what it is. He always tells me he's busy working on stuff, and I'm happy for him. And I mean, the project that we have here, like the world he has here, he always said it like it was an interesting concept because he's used to making home worlds and stuff. And then he was like, "Oh, I get to build like an actual set that you like use for streaming." And he's like still surprised I still use it 3 years later. I'm like, dude, like I just got the world updated a bunch of stuff, and now I run showcases and all these different ideas. So really propelled my what I do here. But anyway, we're talking about you here,
nice,
Dinky.
Nice. No, I'm the interviewer tonight.
Oh,
tell me how much did you have to wait? How long was it?
Oh shit. Okay, I gotcha. Oh, even Landfear's in the chat saying Dinky. So even you got all your homies here.
Oh no.
Yeah, the cat girls here. You have to pray to them, and hopefully they don't expose you. I know your deep dark secrets.
I don't think Land has any dirt on me.
Oh, okay.
She will try and mess with me, so.
Okay.
It's a very professional moment.
Okay. Anyway, so my first question is always a very basic one, but it's always an interesting one because you never know what kind of answer you will say. Like the question is very simple. Like, how'd you get into VR chat? Like, what convinced you to start playing this game?
Man, I can't say for sure. It was definitely YouTube videos. Like I was just scrolling through YouTube and something got recommended. I was like, what's all this? Like these goofy avatars running around. And
yeah.
I didn't even know they're avatars. I'm like, it's just all these characters, and I didn't even know what VR was. So I'm like, why does this like animation look so janky? Like, is this like some kind of like indie animation type of thing? Like someone learning to animate? And I'm like, wait, those are people somehow controlling like the hands and the head and stuff.
Yep.
It's like that's kind of cool. And they just. YouTube, as soon as you watch one thing, it's stuck in your recommendations, and then you just start watching more stuff and get sucked into the rabbit hole. So that's how I initially got into it, just YouTube recommended.
Okay. And do you remember when this was? Like what year?
3 or 4 years ago. I can't say exactly. I haven't been keeping track, really. But
okay.
Not as long as some people, but a few years. I've been in here a few years now.
Not long like Landfair I understand. We've been going to like 5.5 years. We're just a bunch of boomers.
True.
VR chat boomers
Real
specifically.
OGs.
Yeah. But okay, so
Yeah, I got to skip all the rough early stages and jump past that when you guys had like helped him finish all the bugs and stuff.
God. People don't know, people don't understand. Like people always say like, "Man, I really wish it was like 2017 again," you know? I'm like, "Dude, nobody honestly wants that, okay? Like, do you want to crash like 15 times a day? Cuz that's what it was like." And like, there was no game modes. There was nothing, man. There's no gun 'em down. There's no like Ruby. There's no Murder 4. Like, come on, man. Like, you had to make your own fun. You had to stand around a campfire and sing Kumbaya, you know, and then hopefully, you know, have some nerd guy sitting there be like, "Hey, man, I like Dragon Ball Super," and you're like, "Shut up, nerd," you know.
Surely, like, no, actually, I do too. You find like
Actually,
kindred
Vegeta's
nerds.
the most powerfulest character. He's more powerful than Goku because he has ultra ego. It's like, okay, dude.
Wow, real bonding.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what it was like. And then it had like weird bugs where if you had an avatar with like a gun sound effect or something like that, and if someone like used the sound like an effect on an avatar, it would just break your audio for the entire like session until you restart the game. So it would swap your audio. So like your left ear would be your right and right would be left. And you would the only thing you could do is
man, that's rough.
and all you had to do was restart the game. So I remember so many times people were like, "Hey, nobody in here is allowed to use avatars with sound effects." And then people were like, "Why not?" Pulls out gun, shoots it. Fuck! You're just like, you know, and then you have to restart the game again, you know? Like bugs like that. Plug the game.
The immediate personal ear in the thing. Hey, don't do this. That's it. I'm doing that thing. You said I can't, so I'm going to.
Exactly.
Everyone
exactly.
crashes.
Yeah. How'd you come up with the name Dinky specifically? Like Dinky Studios?
So I made that a while ago before even getting into VR chat because I always kind of wanted to be some kind of like creator or artist on the internet, and it was just like a dumb thing. I was like, I'm gonna make like a YouTube channel on animations, but they're not gonna be that good. It's gonna be like stupid little dinky little videos or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's funny. It's just one of those things.
Okay.
Just
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you end up getting into like world creation specifically for VR chat? Like, did you go to school for 3D animation character design? Did you just sort of get into the game and you're like, I should make worlds, because no one has worlds? Like, how did that process?
yeah, I was pretty much just I joined off of, like I said, watching YouTube videos and made some friends after eventually like figuring out how to navigate all the public instances and find people that weren't crazy.
Okay.
And then we would hang out and stuff, and I'd be like, so you know, you just figure it out. I don't remember how people just saying it. I guess I was like, oh, so every one of these worlds we're going to is pretty much made by just some random person who plays the game.
Yep.
And then I'm like, I wonder if I can do that. Like, some of them, it's kind of inspiring in a weird way, but some of them are real jank, which is oddly inspiring because like, well, if this is what can exist in the game, I could probably slap down a cube or two and make like a cube chair. So weirdly get inspired by like the sort of more jank ones, and then turns into an addiction. And later I'm spending like all my afternoons in Unity just building games full time.
We all get,
full-time, I
yeah,
shouldn't say that.
I mean, well, I mean, it's part of your goal on Patreon. You want to go full time, you're like halfway there. So
Yeah.
maybe one day, you never know. Okay, so you got inspired by like looking at like worlds and realizing that people made that, and probably 90% of it is like a rip of like Super Mario or something, or like I remember all the Sonic worlds for some reason. Someone just ripped like every world from Sonic or whatever, or Banjo-Kazooie, and they were just like, yeah, this is Banjo-Kazooie. I was like, that's cool, but like, where's the games? You know, like where's the, you know, I want to play as Banjo, not just walk around in the environment, you know. But maybe this is the content brain.
It's oddly deceptive, and I learned this after like getting a little deeper into game design. It's oddly deceptive how good a map can look for having no functionality, or the creator having no understanding of like real game design.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people these days, especially, they sort of judge a game off of like they literally judge a book by its cover. Like if a game looks nice or it has a really nice like 3D rendered trailer, they're like, that's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
But in VR chat, I noticed like a lot of people, they could just rip professionally made assets and slap it down, and then you're like, wow, this world looks really good, or maybe the trailer looks really good, and you jump in and just fall through the floor, and you're like, well, clearly I should have.
Oh yeah, I
attention.
love going to worlds in VR chat and it's just clickbait. You're like, wow, that's a really nice thumbnail. You click the world, you just fall for the map infinitely. You're like, wow, sick map, dude. I can't even exit the world. I have to restart this game, dude. What the heck?
Yeah.
I feel like they should
That's
fix
like
that. I feel like they should like before you.
nice if there was a.
Yeah, like if you could like view a trailer, like I know you can do it from the website, but I'm talking like most people don't use the website. I'm just gonna be honest. Like if you're an average VR chatter, you know, hey guys, I just got VR, bro. I want to be sitting in VR in the game and be able to like view a trailer or like maybe a group of screenshots. So not just one, because everyone it's always click. It's just like YouTube, you know. Like you click a video, you're like, wow, sexy anime girl. You click it, it's just some old guy talking about some dumb shit, and you're like, what the hell? You tricked me.
Yeah, sometimes those anime girls, their voices surprise you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's crazy
true.
out there.
Yeah, exactly. Look at me. What happened?
You can't judge someone just based on them being a sexy anime girl though. It's all about the personality underneath.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I have two large personalities. It happens.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Thank you. What are some of your favorite worlds or events you like to visit in VR chat?
My favorite worlds or events. Let's see. I kind of like any of Sirix's worlds, honestly. Sirix is one of my favorite otherworld creators because he is like me, where he's insane and he spends like a year making a really high quality project that
Okay.
could almost be a standalone game on Steam with like a few more levels, and you could charge for it. But he's of the same mindset where he's like, I just like VR chat in the community, and I learned how to make stuff, so I'll just put it out here for people to play. So definitely Sirix's stuff.
So for those who are unaware
event?
of cervix, how do you pronounce it?
Sirix.
Sirix.
Like, Cirrex.
Oh, okay.
Sirix.
Oh wait, that's the guy that
He
made
does,
the
Laser Dome,
Yeah,
Fate
yeah,
of Erebos, the Worms map, Abbey Wars.
Yeah, so I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
Until you described like the okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, big brain.
Yeah. Big brain, lots of dedication, lots of work, making games for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy.
There's-
I've never. I didn't play the Worms one yet. I thought about it. It's just like when I try to convince some of my friends, they're like, "This is too hard." Like, I don't get it.
It's too hard.
Well, like you gotta understand
Or
that
reference, like, the end
that.
games or
I mean, the average VR chat person is like, you know, meathead mentality. Me grab gun, me shoot. You know, if it's like more complicated than that, then it's like you're asking too much. That's why murder and like basic game modes work, because it's just a basic premise: grab gun, shoot guy. You know,
yeah.
that's why
In a way,
Call of
that's
Duty
smart
works.
game design, understanding your audience, and yeah, true. Just jump in and shoot. There's a few barriers I've noticed for barriers of entry for people learning it, but people got into it.
Makes sense. Okay, and like, what about some events? Like, obviously, you're part of like the prefabs community. You have it as a necklace, so I'm assuming that's an event you like to go to.
Yeah. So they do the community meetup every Sunday. It's just like an open event to the public. So it's almost always full, like 80 out of 80 capped. So it's kind of hard to get
Damn.
into. But it's basically, that was really fun for me because I used to go to that like every week. You can show off works in progress or works that are done for worlds. It's it's focused around world creation. So I would go there when I was working on like random projects and learning Unity, and there's a bunch of smart people there that have been doing this for like 5-6 years. So you can get advice, you can get feedback, you can just have a bunch of people playing your world even though it's not ready to release. So that's like one of my favorite events. I haven't gone to it as much lately just because I've become so busy with my world creation. Is like the Patreon's growing, so it's almost at a part where I can do this full time as a job, and I'm treating it like that. Like I pretty much wake up, look through a bunch of like different things I have to do to the day for
Yep.
my VR chat games, and then I go to work for my regular job, and then I come home and try and do some VR chat stuff. So I'm in that part where it's like it's starting to work out, but it hasn't hit there yet. So I'm basically working 2 jobs, but it's going in a good direction. So I'm excited for the future.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, because I used to. Well, I'm very sporadic with my time, but I used to go to the prefabs thing once in a while, and I'm like, wow, these are some cool worlds. Because obviously, my world here, Legends showed it as part of the prefabs, and so people are like, wow, this is really cool, and like people are giving me feedback about my world to like update and stuff like that, and they're all just like, wait a second, this isn't a game mode, and this isn't just a home world. This is like your job, and I was like, yeah, I interview people, and they're like, what? So some of them like that concept because they're just like, wait, like this isn't just like a show and tell of like, hey, look at what I made. I made this like car and you can like zoom around. And because I've been to the prefabs and it always seems like some guys like, hey, yeah, I just spent like 500 hours like programming this really cool thing. I'm like,
Those are the coolest people, aren't they?
yeah, of course. I mean, they're passionate. I'm not making fun of them. They're just like super like geeking out. Basically, they're like, yeah, I made
Hey,
this.
that's what you want. That's what you want in VR chat. You want people like that making a bunch of like worlds and mechanics and stuff and just toss it out there for free. That's the best stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so they're all like really hard geeking out about like I made like a real life clock and it really works. And I'm like, okay, but like where's the anime titties? And they're like, oh, what? I don't focus on that. It's like, oh shit. Oh, sorry, my bad. You know.
They hit him with a dose of reality though. That's like even outside of VR chat, that's what sells video games these days, like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
This is an old one, but like Dead or Alive, or just like any game that you can throw some waifus in it. Overwatch, that was what I wanted to mention. Overwatch is big on that. Like, if you can throw waifus in your game, that's automatic marketing. It's just games now.
I'll pitch you an idea, Dinky. Here's your next game. Okay, so you should make Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, and it's where you're in the pool, and then you're on the little platform, and then you have a collider on your ass, and then you have to hit the other player with your ass to push them in the water. I'm just saying, bro. Like that's content.
It really would be like a game like that, and if it like had NPCs, you could just like mess around and send them flying. Like people would actually love that shit, especially in VR chat. So it's a good idea actually, and it's also funny. It's good for your stream.
Yeah. It's good stream content. All the big streamers are gonna be there playing it. And they'll have their quirky mutes running around and fighting each other, and you know you could probably even put the marshmallow technology on there too. So when you squish and you know. Just saying, you know. I want 1% cut though, you know. That's my idea, so I'm just selling it to you, pitching it.
That's a big number. You
get
like
big
a whole
number.
$1 there.
There's an anime around that. Lanfear says, "Yeah, I know. That's why. That's how I know. That's how I know."
Lanfear would know that one.
Oh shit.
Funny. Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's a good anime.
Lanfear's been watching some fun anime.
Of course.
I haven't seen it, but it was one of those ones where you see the trailer and you never forget it. You're like, okay, that's an interesting plot.
Oh, for me, I just
good job, story writers.
For me, it was just looking at Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, and then like everyone just saying you can do those types of game modes, and I was just like, yeah, you should just make that in VR chat. I tried to pitch this to like some other world creators, and they're like, oh, sorry, we don't focus on lewd content. We're trying to like make like technical things. I was like, come on, man. Like, I'm giving you a bone here. Like, you can make millions of dollars to then make your big budget, you know, whatever you want. You know, sometimes you have to do these dark deeds to succeed in life, you know?
See, that's where Mark Zuckerberg messed up. He should have like looked at Overwatch and what you're saying, and he should have funded the metaverse with waifus. Like if he had thrown some waifus in the metaverse instead of lifeless puppets. I'm like saying it jokingly, but thinking about it, like if that had happened, if people were like, wait, I can jump into the metaverse and there's that waifu there, it would have actually, like as sad as it is, it would have blown up. It would have absolutely blown up.
There's like someone that like edited an interview he did like a couple years ago about the metaverse, and he's like, watch this, and it's just him like growing tits. He's like, and then the interviewer's like, wow, that's awesome. Like that was a joke, like meme video, but like if that was a reality, like everyone would be like, oh yeah, I'm buying this.
Yeah, that's pretty much just VR chat, I guess, thinking about it, though.
True. Why do you think the VR chat
already got that market down?
Yeah, that's why VR chat is very successful. You can be whatever you want to be. You can be, you know, you can be dinky or with tattoos and looking at Giga Chad who gets all the bitches, or you could be the bitch where you can be the woman that gets picked up by Dinky. You know, it's two ways. You know.
True. Let anyone express what they want. It's funny too because it's like Overwatch went for waifus, and VR chat was like the people could make whatever they want, and then they made it anyway. They're like, you know what gaming needs? Hot anime chicks. That's all we want.
I'm telling you, man.
People spoke really through VR chat.
I'm telling you, man. When I was playing Gundam Down like a couple days ago to prepare for this interview, of course, you know, when everyone's just a hot anime girl running around with like machine guns, I was like, this is it, man. Like this is the next Call of Duty. It should be right here, bro. Like who wants to be like some middle-aged man saying soap and yelling and being Captain Price when you could be a hot anime girl?
You're not wrong. I'm immediately, as soon as you say that, like, because one thing I've been waiting for forever is the ability to like interact with avatars more with the world. So like
Yeah.
you know how there's like Fizzbones and stuff where you can like poke someone's hair
Oh,
or
of
something
course.
and it moves.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't do that in World, so it's like imagine if you could like. Never mind. I don't want to go to that train of thought. I thought I was gonna put that
What?
first, but
Oh, yeah. That's
it's just like people shooting guns and physics happening.
Oh, okay.
A lot of mobile games make success off of that. Girls with guns. So
Oh,
we can't do that unfortunately.
Oh,
We're not we don't get any control over avatars as world creators.
oh. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll just convince Tupper. I'll just you know. Well,
Do it.
You
Have
know.
you seen? Have you seen there was something going around Twitter by High, and it's basically it kind of looks like Boneworks but in VR chat, where they're like grabbing onto a stick and climbing and sort of like grabbing each other. And
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
you see that at all?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're like holding their hands, you know, like like dancing, like how,
Yeah, like that stuff is super cool.
yeah. High's a big brain.
They did that. Yeah, they did. They had to do kind of a workaround, and they're really smart for doing it. But unfortunately, like to do that workaround is not convenient for them. So it's like a VR chat allowed them to actually do this stuff without all these like you know workarounds, because you can't
Mm-hmm.
be your avatar in that world. I haven't been there, but I don't imagine you can be your avatar in that world. So you have to use the one that's in
That's
the world
provided,
already.
yeah.
But if VR chat allowed that, then anyone's avatars could do that, which I think that's honestly like the next step for this game. But I don't know how possible it is for them, and they're even thinking that. But that'd be really cool.
I mean,
Me, I just want to make it so like when you pick up like a gun or something, you know, like all the nice VR games, you can see the hands like nicely grab whatever you're interacting with, so it's more immersive. I just want that, but you
oh,
know,
so you mean like Bone Lab?
it benefits every party in VR chat. Yeah, like Bone Lab. Like that's what usually like makes a VR game look non-jank. Is you're like, oh look at this game, like look how nice the hand animations are and whatnot.
Makes sense. Hopefully, maybe VRChat will listen to that. I hope so. I mean, shit, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like VRChat's priorities are all over the place. Like they kind of like release something half finished, and they kind of like, all right, here you go, man. And like some things are like accidents. Like VRChat, like the seats for avatars, that was complete accident. They just like they fucked up, and they're like, oh shit, we got avatar seats now. You can just like put a chair on your avatar. My bad. And then for a time they actually removed it, and everybody was mad. Like they were like screeching, going like, add it back. And they're like, oh shit, we gotta add it back now, even though it was like unintentional.
Kind of a good mistake then, because seats on avatars I couldn't imagine without it. There's like all those avatars you can get in a helicopter or something. Those are like, it's just one of the really cool things to run into.
Exactly.
I guess VR chat is up to a lot. I've met a few of the devs around, and I guess like any job, it's like you've got your boss above you that has like 50 million ideas they want you to do, and then there's you like, I'm trying to finish this that's gonna take 3 weeks, and I have like a week to do it. So like,
Yeah.
it's rough for them on that side, like any game dev. But I'm over here just waiting for save states. I just want to be able to make worlds where people can save without having to like remember a code and type it in, because it's like a barrier to entry.
Oh yeah, relatable.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, like what is something you wanted, like as a future VR chat update? And I guess you just said it, like save states, which is something they did say they wanted to do, but you know it's like Valve time. It takes like 10 years, and then everyone's like,
Yeah.
you know, but like what?
So we might be getting close. This is all speculation on my part, and I haven't really been. I've been kind of busy with my own community, so I haven't been focusing as much on like hanging out with the prefabs people and like some of the VR chat devs and stuff. And even
Yeah.
if I was, I wouldn't say anything. But this is just speculation. They recently did an update that allows you to basically export JSON files,
Yep.
which Nerdy Lingo Decrypted can contain a lot of information, like what level you were, how much XP you had, how much money you had, what house, like what objects in your house were put where. So it basically can contain a save file, and you can export that now, is what this update just did.
Okay.
But if they made a way to export that, save it somewhere on the internet, and then import it again, it's literally save states. So that's me speculating. It could be just they're just doing it, you know, to add something in. But it's possible that's the beginnings of save states that literally just got released. So
Yeah, because when
I'm
I
just
look,
excited.
yeah,
for
whenever
it,
I look
but
at like an
that's entire
update
speculation.
or like a post they make in like the Discord, and it talks about like the programming, I was like, what is this? What is this nerd shit? Like, I don't know what this is. And they'll be like, they added guided mode, and I was like, no way, bro, what's that? And then yes, guided mode, finally.
Me over here like reading through all the nerd shit carefully. Does this break my map? Does this break my map? Is this cool? Is
Yeah,
this cool?
yeah, yeah. That's my reaction because I always like typically well they do it every other Thursday now. Before they did every Thursday when I would stream. Like when I start my stream, they usually like release a dev blog, and I'll just look for it on stream, and then like I'm like, okay, this is a bunch of boring nerd shit. Yo, where's the content? Oh, fizz bones. Oh, squish bones. Oh, I'm like, oh shit, that's the real stuff.
Squishbones was a big. I feel like Squishbones was a big sell for like VR chat players.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
We all know what that is. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
We
it's
all
for
know what
buttons.
Squishbones are.
It's for buttons. Two large
Yeah.
buttons.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Two large buttons.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, why there be two? It's just like one to open the door. What are you
Oh,
talking
well,
about?
sometimes it's just like that classic meme where it has like the two big buttons, and it's like you get $1 million, but someone you know dies, or the other one's like you solve cancer, but you die. You know, it's one of those choice buttons. Yeah, yeah.
So it all lines up. So Squishbones are content is what you're saying. I see. It makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For the funny button memes.
Yeah.
obviously.
No, I don't know. Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah. I don't know anything else why people would want Squishbones for. I mean, shit. I'm just an innocent bystander. I'm just a talk show host. Nothing nefarious going on Twitter. Wiggle Wednesday is a good time. That's all I need to know. But anyway, moving on. So I noticed that you're working on a new project called Galactic Garrison. What can you tell me about that? I saw some dev blog stuff. You're working on that.
Oh yeah, I just started that one about a month ago, and it's in the rough stages. So if anyone's like seen the video going around Twitter, I always do all of my code first, and then I make it pretty at the end because there's no reason like putting all the time in modeling and texturing something to look good if you don't know if the gameplay is going to be fun. So it's in its early stages, but it's going to be a wave defense. So basically, just imagine you and your friends are in some sort of base on some faraway alien planet.
Okay.
And a ton of alien creatures start kind of like screaming and running at the base, and you're like, I can buy a pistol, I can buy a rocket turret, I can buy grenades, rocket launcher. That'll be the general idea, is just to have a bunch of different like weapons and turrets you can build and just try and defend the base for as long as you can.
Like TD, tower defense. Like it reminded me of like Starship Troopers, I think a little bit.
Yeah. That's definitely inspiration. I actually rewatched that probably a month and a half ago because I knew I was going to do that project next. The gears were starting to turn. So I was like, went up to my roommate. I'm like, we need to rewatch Starship Troopers. I need it for work. And he's like, okay, it's a good movie. So we got some pizza and watched it.
Oh, sick. Wait, you didn't watch it in VR chat? You watched it like actual.
Yeah, I usually watch movies with my roommate, but there's definitely like the movie and chill worlds. There's a lot of movies in those. You could even get like movies in theaters and stuff.
Oh
so
yeah.
if anyone hasn't seen those, I'm sure everyone's seen those though, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's an interesting convenience of VR chat, man. All these free movies.
I wonder if they have Starship Troopers, because there's a lot of my friends I tell in VR chat, I'm like, yeah, some of it's coming from Starship Troopers. It's a really good movie. And like, what's that? And I'm like, oh no, I'm old.
Time to
No one
look
knows
up
that
Movie and Chill or Ellis Media and be like, does this have it? I'm pretty sure it would. We can always request
I need to
it,
find
I
if it
guess.
has it and like, yeah, just get people to go watch it. But it's some of Starship Troopers, a little bit of like inspiration for Halo from the gun, some Firefly from Malcolm Reynolds' pistol was really cool. I did that recently, but I'm basically just looking at all my favorite sci-fi things and trying to get in the mood of like how I should model things, how I should texture things. So it's like there's some inspiration here and there, but this one I want to like fully do my own thing, because the first big project I did that succeeded was Remnant VR, which is the Ruby project, RWBY, which is based off of Rooster Teeth's show, and that was really fun and a lot of people liked it, and even the some of the original writers of the show saw the tweet just because we tagged them in it, like why not, and they saw it and said it looked really cool. So that was a really fun project, but you know, that's entirely their ideas, even though it was all my game design and stuff. Then I did obviously Call of Duty in VR, which is Gun 'em Down, and even me myself, I just called it Call of Duty in VR because I'm like, you know,
People know what that is.
no one's gonna care. They're gonna call it.
They'd
Call
be
of Duty
like, what
anyway.
the hell is
Yeah.
Gun 'em Down? You'd be like, Call of Duty. They're like, Call of Duty? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I went with that, but that's again like entirely based. It was all my own like models and textures and stuff, but it's based entirely. I was just copying Call of Duty's game design in VR because no one had done it yet, and I'm like, this seems like it'd be fun. But this time around, I'm just making all the systems from scratch. I'm like lightly referencing some things for inspiration for game design and you know how it'll look. But I mostly just want to make my own game in my own universe and trap my own lore, and maybe get some like voice acting going on from some VR chat people if possible. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
should be a nice original thing.
it's interesting that you can play Call of Duty in VR now and also COD Zombies because another guy made COD Zombies. So you can basically play VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the full package now. I'm like, I really want to play
Yeah,
COD
just slap it
Zombies
down.
now. Yeah, exactly. So, what are some challenges you face as a creator when developing a game in VR chat?
Some challenges.
Yeah.
Let's see. On stream, I'll say sometimes VRChat's SDK can be rough.
Okay.
So not only am I, because I didn't know anything about game design before this, so not only am I kind of learning pseudo C# and Unity and modeling and texturing and all the other game dev stuff,
Yep.
I'm learning how C# doesn't work in VRChat. So it's like I'll read it, because there's some VRChat tutorials, but there's not enough. So you have to read C# tutorials for regular game design to learn to code. So I'll read some tutorial. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's how my guns could work. This could make grenades better or whatever. And then I try in VRChat and it doesn't work. And it's like, oh, that's restricted. And I'm like, oh, that's what all the normal game devs recommend. But I guess we'll figure something else out. So it's like, in a way, a lot of people, I think when they see VRChat maps, and it makes sense, I wouldn't like fault them for this, but they see them and they're like, oh, this is like lesser than games on Steam. Like whoever made this is like not as good as a Steam dev. But like after actually being in it a while and looking at some games on Steam, it's a lot harder to make VRChat worlds because you have to know game design in and out, and then you have to know how to do all of these workarounds. So anytime someone makes someone into like something in VRChat, it's like extra impressive to me.
Yeah, because like you just said, like you don't have all the tools. It's kind of like trying to fix a car and they only give you as a wrench. And you're like, all right, figure it out. Like you have like a fraction of, of the toolbox.
Exactly. It's like hand tools for anything, no power tools pretty much. That's a good way to look at it.
Yes, because I've heard other creators say something similar where they're like, well, I could make really cool shit in this game, but they only give me a screwdriver and I have to like, chop wood with it. And I'm like, what? I'm like, that's the perfect analogy. Like it's just really hard. It'd take you a very long time, but you can get it done in a really roundabout way.
Yeah, it's true.
What about when you get an SDK? What about when the SDK gets an update, breaks your world, you spend hours fixing the issue with a workaround, only for the next update to fix the initial issue, and then you have to revert your fixes? Yeah, that sounds about right. That's what Landfear
A lot of world creators have had. Oh yeah. A lot of world creators have had. I've luckily avoided this, but I can empathize because a lot of world creators have had something where their world's about to release, everything's good to go.
Yeah.
And then VRChat doesn't update, like, they've already put out the release date and the trailer and everything, and you get, like, one shot as a world creator for people to pay attention to your stuff. And then VRChat doesn't update and breaks everything. Like, well, I have, like, 1 or 2 days to fix this, and I have no idea what just happened, and you start panicking. So it's, in a way, especially now that I've taken this more seriously as a career, it feels like I'm working with a bunch of coworkers that aren't my coworkers. So, like, if they break shit, it's like, well, I can put a forum somewhere on some bulletin board that maybe people will read, and I can try and get the community to also have this, like, hey, is anyone else having this issue, to get like more voices behind it. But you don't have a coworker you can like directly email and be like, hey, what did that last update do and why, and can you fix it, and it's causing me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I understand it's like there's thousands of world creators, so they can't exactly have direct communication and focus on one person's issues, but just part of how it goes.
Do you remember when you first made Worlds? I don't know if you were making Worlds when it was like 2019 and before that, but like back in the day, how you actually submitted a world is you had to submit it via like a VRChat like submission form, and then you had to wait for like Tupper or someone to like literally look at your world, examine it, and then say, yeah, this is fine, and then upload it. This is before Community Labs. Like that was how it used to be.
Oh wow.
And then
I didn't even hear about that actually. I was after that for sure. That sounds like it slows down stuff a lot.
Oh yeah. And because I made Presentation Plus, which is just like a really just presentation room but larger, and I remember like because it's a public list anyone can look at, so it said like, oh, this world XX killer world, whatever the hell it was. It said like denied because too laggy, or like hidden avatars that are questionable, and like or like low effort world. Like they literally would deny a world if it's low effort. if it's like a lag free box. Yeah.
That's actually rough. Actually, like going to upload something and then like, you know what? No, your world sucks. Sorry.
No, it's just a cube.
I wonder if they were trying to like make VR chat more high quality back then, like manually. They're like, we have to check every world. They have to meet these standards. We can't have people jumping into a world with Shrek shitting everywhere. VR chat has to be pristine. No Knuckles is running around on islands.
Yeah, I think they want. Well, to me, it got to a point where instead of like 30 worlds being uploaded a day, it came to like hundreds, and like having to have one guy's job just sit there and look at worlds all day. That's a lot of like wasted time when he could be working on fixing the game or something. So like, that's why they opted in for the community labs, and then like the community is supposed to police the worlds, but I actually don't know how often someone's world gets removed for like something like bad or not safe for work or whatever. I'm gonna be honest, like I don't know how often a world actually gets in trouble, because I feel like I go to community labs, it's like playing Russian roulette, bro. It's like with a stream, it's like, oh, am I about to get banned? Am I about to see some weird shit? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and you have like little decoys to throw out in front of you, like, hey, jump in that world real quick. I want to go there next. And then if you just hear them screaming in a Discord call, you're like, maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to some community labs, and I used to stream that stuff years ago because it was fun, but now I'm like very hesitant because like there was a time where I went to this home world, looked like a normal cabin. You go into the bedroom and like you can click on the computer screen. So I was like, oh, what's this? I click on it and just changes all the art to like just hot anime girls, but like very naked. So I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn, what the?
Damn.
I was like, oh.
You saw your whole Twitch career flash before your eyes. You're like,
yeah.
no.
I was like, no, please. I was like, I look at this off stream, but on stream, I'm like, no, fuck, that's really bad, guys. Don't look at that. Let me just delete the VOD real quick. But yeah, there's moments like that have happened, or like I've even seen like weird stuff where people hide like under the floor. It says like, I really hate Billy. Fuck Billy. And if you ever meet Billy in the game, then tell him he sucks. And I'm like, bro, what the hell? What's going on here?
Damn. But it's like a bunch of like kids in middle school like starting drama, but in VR chat.
I mean, there was people that did that during EAC. So like when EAC launched, remember that was a thing. Oh, God, it was like a lifetime ago. There's people that would ripple their worlds, like a popular world, and you would go to it, and it would just be a giant box, and it'll say like a little text thing, like 240p. It'll say like, I decided to remove my world because EAC sucks, and you should say it sucks too. So you can't go to my world anymore. And I'm just like, oh, okay, bye. Like,
yeah,
rip.
The EAC thing was a whole thing.
Yes. And then people left, and then they came back a month later, and then, nothing really changed. It's kind of just like old man yells at Cloud, we're gonna boycott the game, and then a month later they're like, all right, back to FPT heaven, with my girls, It's just like, that's basically it. So anyway, are you inspired by other world creators or game developers in VR chat or general?
Definitely. So with a lot of because I'm like more social, so
Okay.
I'll go to like the meetups, like the community meetup I was telling you about, and other things, and sometimes I'll just reach out to people, or if I can bump into other world creators, that's fun. And I have a few people I've made friends with, and I always want to make more, because we'll do this kind of thing where it's like we'll meet up and like, hey, how's it going? How's it been? So you working on anything? And then you get to show off all of your like work in progress stuff, and then it's almost like a trade, like a subtle trade no one talks about. And you're like, all right, I saw you saw all my stuff. Now show me your stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard to like show that stuff off, because the rough part about game dev is like that's what I'm struggling with right now, just starting a new project.
Yeah.
Is games do not look good at all when you're starting, so you're trying to keep yourself motivated and have people hype you up for months and months and months, sometimes like close to a year before it's going to look good and anyone on the internet's going to actually care and be like, wow, I like this. So that's where it's really nice, is to have those communities of game devs where they can look at it and say, oh, that code's really cool you're doing here, oh, I can see we're going to take this, or do you have this idea here? So that's like been invaluable, is making friends with other world creators for me. To answer your original question, people that I look up to, definitely there's a lot, and I'm just gonna like put it out there. I'm not gonna be able to list everyone, but definitely like Lakuza has been like huge. 'Cause I remember meeting him for the first time probably years ago at this point, and just kind of like talking about like his ideas on game design and why he makes worlds, and he had like almost the same ideas I had, which is basically like, I love the community and I just want to make games and put it out there for free. I love gaming and I just want people to experience like big, fun, in-depth, detailed games with their friends and whatnot, which is like kind of the same thing. Because I think a lot of people think that way, but sometimes you just don't like get a chance to talk with them.
Do you ever feel that there are some like gatekeeping in the world creator community? Do you think like some world creators kind of keep the code to themselves, or like not share certain things, or like, hey, I have this really cool idea, and then you're like, that's cool, and then you're like, how'd you do that? And they're like, I can't tell you, man. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This guy. I see how it is.
I think that's all of VR chat. Like if you join a public instance and you're just like, when I was starting, it's already in cliques like high school.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of people hang out and you're like, oh, I got to try and talk to these people. And in the wrong group is just going to shit on you because, you know, they already have, you know, their group going or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's happens just with regular people just trying to meet people. It happens with streamers, I'm sure you know. It happens with world creators. It happens, like there's like kind of cliques with everything. But, you know, there's really, what I've found a lot of times is some people are assholes. The mass majority of like problems I've noticed in VR chat that come to like social drama and inner circles is one person like sees a group they want to be a part of. That group would of course have no idea they exist because they've never talked. Like you have to talk to people to meet people, and they just sit in their head kind of doing like, this person thinks they're better than me, they don't want to talk to me, and they don't go up and like introduce themselves and carry on a conversation for long enough to establish themselves in that person's like cranium, you know what I mean? It's like you have to go up to someone, and most people, like if you go to them and you're just like, hey, I've seen your worlds around, I really like them, or I've seen your streams, I really like them, they're so good. Like the amount of like world creators and streamers I've talked to that just don't get that like genuine, I really like your stuff, you really, you know, make good content, I enjoy it, as like an initial first reaction is insane. Because people will either just say nothing because they're worried if they like bring it up. I don't know what they're worried about if they bring it up. But,
I can give you an idea.
Yeah, they get trapped in their own heads, I feel.
Well, some people, as a streamer, some people get worried when someone goes up to them and goes like, well, I really like your content. And then I'm like, oh, is this guy about to clout chase? Like, fuck. Like, that's the concern that a lot of streamers have. It's like, oh, God, just another fan, bro. Oh, jeez. You know, or like, that's what some people think. That's why some people are like closed off and they don't want to hang out with fans or viewers because they're like, oh, this guy's just here to like want something from me. Or like, sometimes it can be a simple thing. Like sometimes I watch a streamer and then they have like a cool backdrop, like a world or something. It's clearly a public world. I'm like, yo, what's that world? And they're like, I ain't telling you. I'm like, why not?
World that anyone could play.
Yeah, and they're like, and I'm like, why not? They're like, because you're probably gonna use the same world on your stream. And I'm like, okay, you're right, but why is that an issue? Like, are you worried that your secret world that's public is going to be used by 50 other people, or, you know?
Yeah, I guess like anything in life, I always feel it's like good to be friendly, because I've even had those thoughts where like people will, I'm still not, I wouldn't consider myself like known or big at all, but sometimes I'll get people that play my world and they reach out and they say, hey, I liked your world, you know, I really liked Gundam Down or Remnant VR.
Yep.
And then my brain immediately goes to like, oh boy, are they about to like, because what people will do a lot of times is they'll ask you for commissions that are like severely underpriced. Sometimes they'll just straight up ask you to work for free. You know, they don't phrase it that way, but they're basically like,
pay me exposure.
I have this idea for like a game. Can you, or just like, I have an idea for a game or a homeworld for me and my friends. Can you just make all this stuff? It would be really cool, and it hasn't been done in VR chat before. And I'm like, that's true, but at the end of the day, that's basically just me creating your ideas for you, and then you would probably want credit for them. So yeah, it's at the end of the day, that's an unpaid commission.
Hey guys,
so that's where my brain goes immediately, just how the internet is.
Yeah, pay your people.
Strongly and go ahead. I strongly and strictly, pay people a reasonable rate too.
Yeah, I pay people for this world. Okay, like Jesus, man.
Yeah, that'd be a whole nother thing to talk about, how the pricing can go with commissions in VR chat, since a lot of people learn game dev or avatar creation here and don't really know their value. But all I was gonna say is I just adamantly force myself to, even if my brain, like all of these red flags are going off in my brain, I'm like, I don't know this person, I need to be really nice, because I always assume the best, because, you know, if they were just a genuine fan and they want to reach out and be like, hey, I really love your world, just wanted to let you know, like, they're great, keep it up, like, and that's all they wanted to do. If I treated that, a singular person out of 100 people, like, let's say 99 people are all going to be assholes and try and use me in some way I didn't know, and one person just genuinely, like, wanted to compliment me, if I treated that one person out of 100 like shit to protect myself from 99 people, I would hate myself for it. So I decided a long time ago with anything that it's like, I'm just treat everyone good, and then, you know, if something comes out, I'll notice it anyway. So
that's true. That's true. Makes sense. I think for me as a streamer, especially as like a talk show host, I think some people don't realize that like I'm not working 24/7, and so what I mean by that is like I'll go to a party or a club in VR chat, and off stream, I'm just there to like vibe and drink, and then people will constantly just be like, "Yo, like that was a really cool interview." I'm like, "Great, I compliment." And then the second thing is like, "When are you going to interview me?" And I'm like, "Bro, like come on, man." And then the third thing they always say, I'm always like, I'm not really taking like interviews right now, or like I'm not really interested. They're like, oh, so I'm not big enough, I'm not cool enough for your show. I see how it is, and I'm like, it's not about that. And they're like, then why don't you interview me then? And I'm like, bro, I'm here to drink, man. Like what the, you know what I mean? Like that's what happens to me on a pretty regular basis. I'm like, come on, man, I'm just here to vibe, bro. Why you guilt trip me like that?
That's super awkward, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, put you in a position where it's like, hey, well, why don't you interview me? And then if you're like, you know, just for whatever reason, it's not a good interview, you're just like, you know, there goes my vibe. There goes the party. That's rough.
Yeah. Or sometimes I hit them with, you know, this is an interview right now. Like when I'm just like drinking with them, they're like, oh shit. They're like, I'm like, yeah, I'm interviewing you right now. And they're like, I'm like, yeah, I just don't have any viewers right now. I'm not streaming. Is that okay? And they're like, oh, you have to be streaming though, otherwise it's not official. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy. I get what you're trying to say now.
This guy.
Yeah.
That's just VR chat though. It's like, it's deeply intertwined with people who are streaming, people who have clout, people who don't, and people who want it. And some people negotiate that well, some people don't. Because how I viewed that right in the beginning, and it probably helps that I'm like a world creator. Because I'll collab with streamers from time to time. Because I'm like, it's their business to like get views and entertain their audience. And as long as I can only improve that, you know, no harm, no foul type of thing. So, and it's also the type of thing where it's like if I reached out to someone like, hey, if you want to do some kind of a tour, it's their stream and they know it's entertaining for their audience. So if they're like, no, I'm like, okay, it's just a business interaction. So I've been, since the beginning, I've been completely comfortable with people. People could straight up say, you know, if you got to boost your numbers, then I'll work with you, because, you know, that makes sense to me. But I think that's rare in VR chat. And I think that's because a lot of people are immature in VR chat. Is a stream collab is a straight up business interaction, and it should not be treated like friendship. It should be treated as, you know, I want to collab with you because you have these numbers. This is what I have, but I can be entertaining this way. And a lot of people treat it more like, come on, don't you want to be friends? Do you not like me? And get all emotional. It's like, no, it's, well, you wouldn't just reach out to me if you wanted to be friends. You reach out to me because you know me through Twitch. So innately, you made it a business interaction by reaching out to me through knowing me for business and wanting to do my business with me.
Yeah.
Like going up to, I don't know, any job and being like, hey, you're a mechanic, can I help you work on this car? And you're like, well, you don't know how to work on cars at all. And then they just get all mad at you. Oh, you don't like me or something? You're like, no, you just don't, you couldn't keep up.
Well, Dinky, you're using logic here, man. You're using too much logic. This is too much big brain for these VR chat people, man. Right. Yeah, because I always get that. You're exactly right. Like, I have 2,000 friends in VR chat, and like more often than not, I have friends that come up to me and you know, and be like, so when are you going to interview me? And I'm like, and it just puts me in a really awkward position. They're like, aren't we friends? You interviewed this guy and he's your friend. I'm like, yeah, but like, that was because they had like something I was interested in. Like, so I'm not interesting? And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like, holy shit, dude. What the? Here we go, dude. I'm going to wake up to a twit longer in the morning. Fuck.
That's gotta be the one thing I don't like envy for streamers at all, is like, I've seen that since the beginning. It's like, I don't stream, so I don't have to experience this, and I'm glad for it. But it's, I guess it just happens because it's like, the difference between streaming and a YouTube like video is it's a little more personable because you can type in chat and like get responses back and whatnot. So it's not so much of a stretch for people to be like, oh, this streamer is, their content is them being friendly to people. And then it's another stretch for them to be like, well, if this person isn't friendly to me, then they're a bad streamer, because apparently being friendly is how, you know, streaming works. And then if you say, hey, promote me and basically like give me your viewers, and they say no, they're not being, you know what I mean? It just gets weird.
Yeah, it just gets weird. It gets weird. And I'm like, man, this is not how the real world works, man. This is not how it works. I think people don't realize that VR chat is like not emulating real life in terms of like how an actual, like, because like you understand, like in real life, you don't walk into somebody, start head patting them, they're gonna be like, I'm gonna break your hand. What are you doing? You know, like that's not a real interaction. Okay,
that's
like,
a whole other thing.
I mean, I'm just saying the truth, you know, like that's not how the real world works. Okay, you don't just walk up to people and start hugging them and like head patting them and be like, you're a good girl. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? That happens in the real world, dude. I'm like, yo. So But it's the same
I
type
wonder
of.
if that's happened to anyone.
At
Like, just
TwitchCon?
playing too much VR chat, and they were like at a family gathering or something, and they're like, their bald-headed uncle comes in with a big beer gut, and they're like, "Hey, uncle," and then they had pet him.
What are you doing? I mean, I've heard stories like
Yeah.
that at TwitchCon where like people were standing in front of a mirror, like at TwitchCon, and be like, "Guys, it's just like VR chat," and then this other person was like, "Bro, this is cringe. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, like, come on, like, dude." It's funny in VR chat, but in the real world, you can't just stand in front of a mirror and be like, "Wow, look, it's VR chat, guys." Also,
Yeah, I
it was-
can only imagine how that all went.
yeah, and it was at TwitchCon, so the other streamers who aren't part of VR chat, like, look at those weird VR chat people.
Oh no! Oh wait, do they?
Yeah,
Oh, that's rough.
exactly.
A bunch of nerds bullying other nerds.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
But anyway, we have to do our.
These are the cool nerds.
Yeah, we're gonna do
Oh,
our
yeah,
half.
what's up?
We're gonna do our halftime show real quick, or like the break thing, real quick,
Ooh, exciting.
and then we'll resume. And then I think after that we'll play those videos for you, the ones you sent to me. We can play them on the video player as well. For Gun 'Em Down and the Ruby one. So anyway, I'll click this real quick here. All right, put the camera back on me. All right, so that was this ad is by Gray. She creates avatars which are all available as shown in this trailer. Check out our Gumroad at smallgray.gumroad.com. Thank you to all my patrons for supporting me, and if you like an ad or to support me, consider Twitch subscribing or use your Prime Gaming sub subscription. My Patreon is patreon.com/thatonerebel. And we'll have to wait a little bit for like the ads, so another like 2 minutes. But we're just chilling here. I'll take a drink of some water to hydrate. But once the Twitch ads are over, I think we'll put in some of your video trailers you gave to me, and we'll play them on the big screen, if that's cool with you. And then you can
Sounds
talk.
good to me.
Because my
Oh,
next
no,
question, the next questions are literally about Vale and Ruby and Gun 'Em Down, so it makes sense, you know. That'd be the next segment to do.
I'm very excited for that.
Hell yeah, dude! This is like the first time I actually get to like put like videos into the video player as like an interview, because I never have to do that because like people don't have videos prepared for an interview, but you do, so it's different, you know.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
Let me check on this time here. We got another 2 minutes. Damn, time is slow. But I'll queue these videos real quick before I forget. Which one do you want to show first? The Ruby one or the Gun 'Em Down 1 and 2? Or
The Ruby one first would be cool.
okay. Let me just copy and paste this. Okay, got that queued up. Alright, we'll just wait another second here for these ads. So yeah, just for people are wondering like what's going on. So basically every hour Twitch plays ads whether I like it or not. And so what I like to do during your interviews is just take a little bit of an intermission. So just a reminder, if you like to stream, hit the follow button. If you have any questions for me or Dinky, you can use the command !questions with the chat. If you're ever curious who Dinky is or their Twitter and their Patreon, put !guests into the chat. Dinky is enter meditation mode. Exactly. So it's always like this
True.
awkward
I was
like.
finding my zen.
Yeah, exactly. I do, dude. I love Zenyatta from Overwatch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's
he's
the
a good
meditation
hero.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the meditation guy.
Yeah, exactly. And
I played a lot of Overwatch 1 actually.
me too. I mean, I played it since like day one of back in the day, and then I like played it for like a month straight, then stopped, and then never again. But it's good while it lasted. I remember like playing Roadhog, and you just grab people around corners, like some like it's like a hack shit where you just like they just like come around the corner and just like it just hack like grabs them through walls and shit. Like that was sick. Then they nerfed the fuck out of them, and I was sad. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And now it's just one tank, 2 DPS, 2 healers, so it's like different, but I guess it's a little bit better
Oh yeah,
strategic.
it's all locked in.
Yeah, it's all locked in, and you can't switch
Yeah.
roles mid game anymore. I don't think. Maybe in chill play, but in the other ones you like, because back in the day you could be like 5 Roadhogs or 6 Roadhogs. You really want to fuck around. You know, you could do like weird comps and stuff like that. Nowadays, it's like, nope, you have to be a healer. You have to queue up as a healer or a DPS or just the one tank. I was like, man, this.
It's always kind of for me. For me, that's like the best stage of games is when they first release, before they like start to like really refine the balance and everything, and mostly before people start to like get really good at a game.
Yeah,
sweaters. Just gamers, what they're gonna do is they're gonna find whatever works the best and only use that. So you kind of get locked into a meta, and you're like, okay, I can either do good or I can try and have fun.
Exactly. I blame the sweaty gamers and them
Let's go.
getting too good at the game. All right. Anyway, the ads are over.
Yeah, how dare they?
So you want me to play the video now? The Ruby
Alrighty.
one. All right, and we'll watch it, and then you can talk about it. Oh, let me click this. Oops. There we go. Oh, hell yeah. Alright, put the camera back on us. Please and thank you.
That's such a cool trailer.
Yeah, that was sick,
That project
dude.
It was really fun because I was working with the team for that one with Steve Phantom and a bunch of other cool people. So I was just like kind of having flashbacks, remembering all the like we had a lot of like fun together working on that project.
Oh, one second here. Let me fix the camera myself. There we go. Apparently the guy's just crashing every like 2 seconds. Anyway, Continue.
Yeah, so that was Remnant VR.
Mm-hmm.
It's inspired by a show called Ruby, RWBY, which
Yep.
is from Rooster Teeth. Some people might have seen it, some people may not have seen it, but that show's actually doing pretty good. They got a whole like a high quality Japanese studio to like redo it in more of an anime style recently.
Oh,
Or maybe
okay.
an alternate timeline. And they also just got a new season that released, so that show is still kicking and going around. And
Damn.
I remember that project started. I was making. Oh, it's funny. I was in the middle of making kind of an RPG for VR chat because that's the thing everyone thinks of, right? I want a big open world thing with lots of
Yeah,
enemies
yeah.
and quests and
Sword Online.
run around with my friends like it's Sword Art. Yeah, Sword Art
Yeah.
Online. Got to make Sword Art Online. So I was doing some variation of like my own original idea of like that, like just VR MMO of some sort, and
Yeah.
I was like 90% done maybe. And then they updated SDKs and like a bunch of stuff broke, and I was like, you know what? But at the same time, I met Steve the Mitochondria, and he was at that meetup I was telling you about, showing off a Ruby world, and it was really nice. And I just kind of like started talking to him because I might have been showing off my mechanics of some kind of world at the time. I was like,
Okay.
hey, you make really cool Ruby worlds, and I make really cool game mechanics. And he's like, yeah, I could maybe make like some really cool combat for the worlds. And we just kind of like started working together. And it was funny because at the time he was basically like, he was making, I forget the name, but it was like some League of Legends YouTuber that had like 1 million viewers or whatever, and was getting like 800,000 views a video.
Okay.
Had commissioned Steve to make because he does animation, so had commissioned him to like animate the streamer's character and do all that. He's like, I'm in the middle of that project. I'm making an episode of my own thing, the VR chat worlds, and like 3 other things. So he's doing like 5 things. So he's like, I can't get too much into a new project. Like I can't get too busy. And I was like, I'm like 90% done with like a VR chat MMO that's like really ambitious. I've been working on for like a year, and I'm still working like 2 jobs right now. So I'm not really gonna have much time. So I really can't like dedicate too much to a project. We'll do like one little arena with one enemy, and you'll just fight it, and it'll be neat. Like, yeah, that sounds good. And then like the first week we would like not sleep at all, and we would just work on it all day because it was super fun. Because it
Yeah.
was the first time I think for him where he was like, I can make all of my 3D characters and animate them and stuff and have them actually in a game where they can like attack the players and you
Yeah.
level up from killing them and all that. And for me, it was the first time where I was like, I can just do all this code, and I'm just handed like this beautifully modeled and animated thing that's ready to go. And you know, I'm just like, I code it, I give it health, and then it dies, and the animation's already there. Or I code it and make it like walk over to you and attack. And it was like, for both of us, it was like, holy shit, it's so nice to have a team and to work together and to be able to like speed up the workflow and all that. And also inspiring to see like anytime he would be like, oh, I made this new visual effect for like the weapons or something like that. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, well, I gotta keep up. So then I would like code it immediately and then code the next thing we were talking about, and then he would see that, and
Yeah.
it was just like this cool cycle of inspiration. And then Phantom was in there with us too, making like a bunch of gun models, and we'd all hang out in Discord calls, and there was like so many people involved in that project too. Like a bunch of, there was a Ruby community, there still is. There's a Ruby community in VR chat, and
Yep.
they've had various channels over the years on YouTube making, they'll do like the voices of the characters and
Yeah,
act
yeah,
out
yeah.
like funny scenes in VR chat. So Steve kind of knew them, and he knew some of them really well. And so they would kind of like, hey, that project looks really interesting. Can we play it? They'd play test, and then they'd be like, hey, do you need voices for some of the characters? And they sounded like some of those guys are really good. They sound pretty much just like the characters from the show. So we actually had NPCs in the world that sound almost identical to the characters, in my opinion. It's just such a fun project. But
Do you ever?
yeah, that took like a year to make. And oh, go ahead.
Do you ever think the people like the Rooster Teeth people saw it on Twitter? You said earlier. Do you think they ever like hopped in VR chat to actually play and be like, "Yo, this is sick"?
So we lost our minds with that, honestly. I still do. So in our own minds, and we were getting really hyped up, and we were hyping each other up and being like really supportive of each other. So we thought that project was the best thing ever. I still do. But you know, there's a realistic part of me that can like look at it and make, okay, it's a VR chat world. It doesn't save automatically for you, have to do it yourself and yada yada, so on, lag and jank. But we were super hyped for it, and like, okay, we're literally making an entire fan game for Ruby for these guys.
Yeah.
And we're releasing it entirely for free, and it's
Yeah.
a VR game, which this was like 2 years ago, so you know, VR is still kind of big in my mind, but this was like back when VR was still like, it was like when meta was not even started or just starting, so
Yeah.
VR was a pretty hot topic at the time. So we're like a VR fan game of their game. And Rooster Teeth has a record of like, I don't know if you would know, but they created their show just kind of on YouTube. Like they just grabbed some models from Dead or Alive, I think, and just made these like fight animations, and then that turned into Ruby. It was just some people doing it on YouTube. And they even in their show, they use like the sniper sound effect from Halo and whatnot. So like they use other stuff from the internet. So they're very much an internet creator is how they started. So they've always been very supportive of fan art. So we're like, they're an internet creator, or at least their origins. They always support other fan art, and we're making like an entire free VR game, which is like the new thing. Like that's the new tech is VR games. So we're like, clearly this blows up. Like there's no way they don't see it and they play it on their own Rooster Teeth podcast and they love it and they retweet it and they tell us how awesome it is. That's what we were all thinking, and it was like getting us super hyped. And then we release it and just kind of like nothing. We're like, okay. And we didn't want to like tag them or anything because we were worried. We're like, I don't know if we should tag them. Maybe they'll copyright strike us. Like, how could this all go? We spent like a year on this. Maybe it all gets just like copyrighted to oblivion and it's gone and work wasted. We kind of knew that going in, but we couldn't stop. Like once we started, it was so fun. So like, we have to finish this anyway. And if they did, copyright strike it and it gets deleted, oh well. But just nothing, like really nothing from that, nothing from Rooster Teeth. I'm like, okay. So then we did the first update for it, and we're like, you know what, fuck it. No one's saying anything. Maybe they just don't know it exists, and like it exists. So we tagged there was 3 writers that kind of like originally did the show, and then we tagged 2 of them. And one of the guys responded, because I made a Reddit post too, and he responded on the Reddit post, and he was like, wow, this looks really cool. I have VR. I can't wait to like jump in and give it a shot. As soon as I get like a chance, I'm really busy. And then just kind of like nothing. It's not like he's going to DM me or anything, but just never heard anything. So we're in this like constant state of like, because 2 things could happen the way we figure it. I guess 3. Yeah. They could have saw it. They're like a big kind of company now, and they got bought out by Warner Bros or something, I think. But they could basically have the usual corporate entities, and they're like, we don't want our team of lawyers to basically screw over these fans. So they're trying to, like, they've seen it and like, we support this, but if we retweet it, we'll get these guys in trouble. That could have happened where like they know about it, but they just can't do anything publicly because it would, they don't want to like harm us. That's a possibility. Second possibility is they literally just haven't like played it or like given it a chance, and they like maybe saw it in passing. I guess that's kind of cool, like a jank looking trailer for a game or something, and just never touched it. And the third possibility, I don't know, those are the 2 possibilities. Oh, but yeah, we just don't know. We just don't know if it's like, because that's the thing. It's like we want them to see it, we want them to try it because it was like a big fan project, and they usually love fan stuff just based on like the origin of their companies. So we want to be like, hey, like have that guy that like helped write the show jump in and be like, wow, someone like took all of my ideas and made this whole game out of it. Like how cool, cool experience like that for them. We want that to happen. And if that never happened, it's a shame, and we want to bug him about it. But if it already happened, then it's like, cool, he already did it. He just can't say anything, and we just don't know. Like, there's no communication there because he's, like, huge on the internet. So it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, we'll never know at this point, I suppose. It's been, like, a year or 2 now.
Damn.
So, yeah, I guess we'll just never know.
Unless you go to a convention.
Anytime we, like, bring it up.
Go to, like, a convention and see them and be like, yo, did you play that game in VR chat? And be like, what?
Just ask him.
Yeah, I just feel like, fuck it, dude. It's verbal. It's not written, so,
Yeah, maybe. That's not like a horrible idea, actually. If one of us ends up being at a convention, just to ask him. But it's like, that was even like, it's funny you asked that or that I got into that, however. But I was talking about that with Steve like the other month, and we just brought up, I'm like, I can't fucking believe it's still, like, just no idea if they've played it or even know it exists yet. But what can you do?
I have a story related to Ruby of VR chat. So when I used to be part of Team 5, like 5.5 years ago at this point, whenever PAX East was 2018, I never attended, like, because I never left Canada, but Poke and the boys from Team 5 went to PAX East, and apparently the people from Ruby in 2018 were at the convention to probably talk about Ruby or whatever, like the Raiders, and apparently they wanted to meet with Poke because at the time VR chat was booming, like it was like massive, and it never happened. Like, I don't know why he, like, it was just kind of like, whatever, It wasn't, like, I don't know what, I wasn't there, but apparently that was, like, we were supposed to meet with them and, like, have some sort of conversation about something. Now, in my mind, I think what they wanted, because they saw VR chat as, like, a huge opportunity in 2018, I think the idea was to have, like, the 4 voice actresses get in VR and just play as their own models and be like, oh, look, I'm Blake, and I don't I think that was the concept they wanted to go for, but it just didn't like that conversation didn't even happen when it should have, if I was there, I would have said like, we need to meet with them. Like, this is Rooster Teeth, bro. Like, this is a huge opportunity. So I don't know why that didn't happen. I wasn't there, so I don't know if like maybe something happened, but apparently that was told to me like by numerous people that were at the convention that they wanted to meet like with us, which is weird because we were just like, at the time we were just a bunch of like VR chat people like, I'm funny, I say dumb meme. So I'm like, so they probably saw like the potential because like Poke was getting like 10,000 viewers at the time, so and it was like all over Reddit and shit and YouTube. So I'm assuming they wanted to do something with Ruby, with VR chat.
It might have been because Poke was probably like the streamer for VR chat at that time. It sounds like.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know the time frame for this, but the people I was telling you that made YouTube videos, it might have been around then because it was like before I joined, and they got a lot of views. Like I think they got like 500K or a million or whatever big numbers like that. It's like somewhere in that range, which is just impressive when it hits that point. So maybe they saw those videos and like, oh, this VR chat thing, because how they make all their animations is kind of an interesting process. So we were actually talking with one of the artists because we know some of the guys on the team. Like the Rooster Teeth animation team, like not like any of the business people, but like just the people who work on the show. Artists meet artists type of thing. And he was like, wow, this is really cool. I wonder if you could use that mocap stuff to animate the show, basically. So it's like they might have seen the YouTube videos around that the Ruby group was doing. Maybe they thought it could be like a cool place to, do whatever. And then they were like, well, if these guys are doing this on YouTube, Poke's a big streamer, we could reach out to him and try and do like, because they do funny videos, Rooster Teeth, and streams. So maybe they're like, maybe we can find big streamer that's doing VR chat and collab with him and kind of like simulate, because they knew it worked from the YouTube, like the Ruby YouTube videos. I don't know. Who knows what they were thinking, but
probably something like that.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's my favorite Blake line.
It's a shame.
That's my favorite Blake line, bro.
Yeah, it's funny that reminds me, we had these like all these thoughts, like we kind of wanted to collab with them basically, because we're like, if we release the game and we can get them to officially, we were really worried before release about them basically copyright striking and us having to delete all our work. So we were basically like, if we can reach out and in a sense collab with them, that's like a guarantee that they're not going to copyright strike it. So we had the idea that we would reach out to them, they could like retweet the trailer and all that, which would be big, and we would put ads because they had the new season coming out. We would put ads for the new season in the world, because we have a lot of people that play the game. Like, I've never heard of Ruby before or even watched it, but I played your game world, it was really fun, so I watched the show and I loved it. Like, I've gotten a ton of comments like that, so it could have been a thing. And then we were trying to get VR chat in on it. We could have had VR chat and Rooster Teeth work together to do a collab, and it would have been like super hype for us if both those like entities combined. Then for VR chat, it would have been really good. Like the devs, I think, would have been down for that because Rooster Teeth's a little bit bigger than them, so that's always good. And then it would set the precedent that, hey, everyone out there that makes content videos, if you're using 3D models in some sense, which a lot of people use on the internet, you can do it in VR chat and you don't have to animate it. You can kind of do it yourself and voice it live action and make it funny and kind of shift the content, but it's less work. So it could have been a whole thing. I thought that would have been huge. VR chat, we talked with some people and they weren't really down. In fact, they said some really demotivating stuff to us. And I was kind of, well, VR chat's not, if they're not on board to try and advance their company, I don't see why we need to push it that hard with them. And then no one from Rooster Teeth responded because they're huge. So it was like, well. That was also when there's RTX, I think is what it's called, their convention. They
Texas.
have a convention they run for their fans. They couldn't do it because the pandemic was happening at that point. And we're like, you could do that in VR chat. Like, if we can set up Rooster Teeth's Con in VR chat, that's another like those could all kind of commingle, those collaborations, and it would be huge for VR chat. And I think it would be really good for Rooster Teeth because then it's like, instead of having to set up a live venue, they could set it up with VR chat, and like VCAT, they could sell tickets or whatever, and it'd be like good for everyone is what we thought. But we just couldn't really find probably just didn't talk to the right people, and we weren't big enough. We couldn't find the right business minds at VR chat to help us, because the idea was, we're not big enough, no one knows us. Get someone at VR chat because they're going to benefit from this, get them to reach out to Rooster Teeth, and they'll probably respond and make all this cool shit happen. But it just no one really cares until you have numbers on the internet, is the unfortunate thing. You can have all the coolest ideas in the world, and apparently you can make a whole ass VR game, rough as it is, but a whole ass VR game, and it's not enough. You just got to have that wacky number in front of your name when you message someone.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right. I think that's probably what happened, because I seen VR chat collab of I don't know what the hell it was, Fnatic or some shit. Liquid. I don't even know what it was, like some esports team. That was like a year or two. It was so random. I was like,
Oh yeah, the clothing line one, right? Where they
yeah,
have their own clothing line.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
who was that? I know what you're talking about.
see,
Who was
that's why that was so random. I was like,
100 Thieves, 100 Thieves.
yeah, 100 Thieves. Yeah, they were like, let's collaborate
Yeah,
with
I
100
remember that.
Thieves, and probably the average VR chat person's like, what the fuck? When like we could have had Ruby, man. We could have had Ruby, man. Instead we get 100 Thieves. Like what?
Yeah. Oh well. There could be such cool collabs with VR chat. Like, I don't know if they are reaching out and it's just not happening for them, or if they don't have like a guy on their team that's reaching out, but they really should be. Like, there's a ton of like, there's like thousands of like entities on the internet that I could see collabing with VR chat in some sense.
Yeah, boo VR chat, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I think they collab with like Hololive maybe. I don't know. That's about it, I think. Because I see the Hololive stuff in the New
They
Year's
did that in a way.
in the
Yeah,
New
of
Year's
course.
map or whatever. I don't even know.
I was pretty hyped for that. That was cool. I don't really watch Hololive, but I was just like, oh, that's cool. That's big for VR chat, surely.
Yeah, the VTubers.
But-
I think, and that's all I really know. But maybe they do more things in the background. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know. They probably. I don't know. It'd be cool if they collabed with something that like people like, or even if it was just Call of Duty or Battlefield or Star Wars or something. People would be hyped for that. They'd be like, "Oh, Star Wars in VR chat?
Yeah.
Oh, sick, bro."
Yeah, that's what I was. So there's this idea I have, which it's like I could see this being a cool thing. Let me know what you think. So there's VR gaming is trying to grow, right? And a lot of AAA studios are like, I don't know about this VR thing. It doesn't. Most of them are like, it doesn't quite have the business numbers to prove sales because that's all they look at when you get to a certain point as a company.
Yeah.
Is imagine you're in VR chat or you're just someone who's interested in VR technology, and there's a collab between VR chat and let's say like whoever makes Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
And it's basically there's one world in VR chat officially sponsored by, the people who make Battlefront. And
Yeah.
it's not like they have to develop a full game. They can just make like one level and try it out and see how the reception is. So then VR chat gets to collab with all these big name things. It helps them because let's be honest, people steal a ton of shit in VR chat from like intellectual properties.
Yeah.
So then they can kind of have some of that officially licensed. VR chat gets all the fans of that stuff, and then the other company gets to sort of test their dip their toes in VR, give it a shot, see how players like it, and they don't have to invest in a full game. And then that would be the type of thing where imagine you're playing VR chat. Pretty much everyone that plays VR jumps into VR chat from time to time. So you could have all the players get hyped for something like, oh, that world in VR chat was really fun. It's never going to be big enough for them to be satisfied. It's like, man, I had so much fun playing Battlefront VR, and they can look at that hype and be like, all right, we'll make the game. And then they already have the hype and like, I've played it before. I've basically played a demo. Let me jump in and buy it, So I think something like that would be cool. But
Yeah, no, I get what you're trying to. I think I understand what you're saying. So imagine like the category at the very top of like the world category is like Star Wars, and it's just like the one map, kind of like how they do with 100 Thieves. You go, because the average person will be like, what the hell is this? And they click it, they try it out. It's like a 10-15 minute thing, and because VR chat has 60,000 players or whatever, and they're all free, so like I mean, that's like a good testing ground for if it's worth their time or whatever. Then Battlefront or Star Wars can be like, hey, maybe we should make a more expansion of this or something like that. And then VR chat gets more players because then VR chat could tweet out, hey, we got Star Wars in VR chat. Go check out this map. And people are going to be like, cool. Then the average Star Wars fans would be like, I'm going to play VR chat now. And then they do. And then, so it's like mutually beneficial, like for both sides from my basic business understanding. And then, both sides win, and Star Wars gets another $1 billion. It is what it is. And I'd be like, where's my cut? But, it'd be good.
Yeah.
But they could do that for VR chat, but I don't know. Maybe there's a little more business sense. Maybe they have to talk to lawyers for 10,000 years and whatever.
Yeah, it'd be a whole
Talk
thing,
to Disney, and Disney be like, what the hell? There's Mickey Mouse in this game, and what the? You're not supposed to have that. And then we all get shut down, and then I cry. And then we play Chill Out.
They might have thought of it. I feel like that's what. Remember the AT&T thing and the 100 Thieves thing? I think that's what they were thinking. Is like VR chat can kind of sue because that's what Metaverse did. So they might have, and that's what VCAT kind of does. So they might have like the gears are already turning. They might have been like, oh, let's see if we can like work with like other companies and sort of collab. Make worlds in VR chat as an advertising collab, which is a smart idea. It's a really dumb fucking idea to use AT&T. Like, who the fuck cares about AT&T and clothing? So the unfortunate thing is loosely knowing how like companies are run by non-gamers. I don't know if VR chat's like that. Now they have a graph, and that graph is going to look like shit. And a lot of them aren't going to question, well, the graph looks like shit, sir, because it was a fucking AT&T world. Like, VR gamers don't want to go to an AT&T world. So it's like, unfortunately, there's now negative data that just exists. So
it's the same with the New Year's Eve map, Times Square or whatever. So this year there was like an advertisement for some like T-shirt or something like in the world, like in the very back corner, like very like obscure in some corner. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And it was like sponsored by VR Chat. Get this cool shirt. And I'm like, okay, but why? Like the other advertisement kind of made a little more sense. It was Tundra Trackers, which is like, oh, full body. Woo.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
The other one was like T-shirt.
Whoever their business guy is.
Yeah,
they
like,
might just be reaching out and they're like, that the only person they can get is T-shirt, which I guess is good because money now, but that's bad because then your record, no one's gonna buy that fucking T-shirt. Let's be honest. So your record when other companies consider working with you is negative now. So it's like, yeah, you got some money from the T-shirt company that was willing to accept, but now any cool company that would actually be a good collab is going to be like, well, we looked at your past and, you know, that T-shirt company didn't really make much out of that deal.
Honestly, they should have like collaborated with like Vive or something, but like Vive trackers, 10% off if you use code VR Chat. But you know, that would have been sick.
I feel like I saw something like that for Vive, but yeah, that's definitely Vive trackers, Tundra trackers, VR devices. Like they should be, and it'd be good for the companies too, because that's most VR gamers are in VR Chat. Like you run out of games real quick, and I guess I'll just fuck around VR Chat a bit.
Exactly. Or they could advertise existing things in VR Chat, like maybe, I don't know, there's a Gundam Down trailer or something in Times Square, or like True VR Chat, where's that? Or it could be like, I don't know, avatars. Maybe, I don't know why they don't like advertise like creators and be like, hey, look at this cool avatar. I mean, there's not booths, but like it depends on the person advertising that. So like, I don't know, they should have like a segment, because they have like this segment in the Times Square map where it's just a bunch of graffiti. And I'm gonna be honest, when I went there and I talked to a lot of people, I said, did you see the graffiti thing? And they're like, what the hell is that? And I showed them and they're like, I don't even read, I can't understand anything, it's just a bunch of scribbles. And I was like, oh. But like if they had like a section there where it's just like, a bunch of like avatars you could try. People are like, oh, dude, my avatar was in the VR Chat world. And I'm, because it could be like an advertisement for that, So, I don't know.
Yeah. It's true.
There's some ideas.
I just want this game to grow, man.
Yeah, man. I want that creator economy so I can give you $200 to dance on me.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, let's talk about Gundam Down or the Call of Duty VR. Do you want to? I guess we'll play the trailers first, or the videos, and then you can talk about it.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, give me 1 second here.
I want nothing less than your absolute best. Gun him down!
Damn. Right, put the camera back on us. Do you want to play the second video first, or do you want to talk about it a little bit first, or what do you want to do?
We could talk a little to break it up, I suppose.
Sure.
That way it's not trailer to trailer back to back. I think that
All right.
makes sense.
All right, so that was Gun 'Em Down VR. So go ahead.
Yeah, that was Gun 'Em Down. I'll just be candid with it because, you know, that's what interviews are for. So Gun 'Em Down was quite literally, there was like this part of my mind, I think some creators go through it, where I was doing my RPG before the Ruby project, and I was like, I'm going to do my own thing. It's going to be cool. I'm going to do whatever I want and see if people like it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, people just do not give a shit about your own thing. And then there's the Ruby collab, and I was like, man, if you do something people know about that's already a big thing, a lot more people care, like, immediately. And there's always that part of my brain, though, that was kind of like, you know, I don't want to do this because it's easy, you know, like, it's, I think the variation people might be familiar with is it's like, you know, I don't want to make, you know, titty streaming content on VR chat. That's just what everyone does, and it's easy. Like, you have those thoughts, right? Where you're just like, this is the easy route, and I don't want to take it. After the Ruby project, I was like, fuck it, dude. It's been fucking years that I've been trying to make shit on the internet. Nothing's working. I'm going to just start trying to take whatever my brain says is, you know, the thing that's going to work. I need to just trust it and do that. And who cares if it's, like, considered the easy route or, you know, there's some sort of, like, you know, vibe around it like that. So I was like, okay, Ruby project done. I want to make another project. I don't give a shit about any kind of weird creator pride. I just want it to, like, blow up. That's all I want. And then I can, like, after it blows up and I can quit my fucking minimum wage jobs finally, then I can just dive into my creativity and make some really cool shit and show people what's going on in my brain. So I'm like, what's the most popular game? Call of Duty. It hasn't been done in VR at all yet. Like, they have Pavlov and stuff, but none of them have kill streaks. None of them have perks. Most of them, I don't even think they have a leveling system. It's like, I can do all that stuff. Like, that stuff's easy. I can't believe that doesn't exist yet. I'll do that. Do that. Make Call of Duty in VR the biggest name game. It's in VR chat for free. A bunch of people can play it. Make it for Quest so it'll have a player base because lots of VR, like, FPSs die off. Like, all around, it's a good idea. Like, this is just any possible, like, selling out I could do. This is it. Like, this is, like, the dumb success route. So that's how Gun 'Em Down started. But obviously, I fucking love Call of Duty. It's based on Call of Duty 2, which I played on 360, I think, back in the day, like ages ago, because I'm old. I remember playing with my friends from middle school. So there was that vibe to it. It's not like it was like this soulless Call of Duty copy. It was like, well, I really liked the game as a kid. I just want to, like, reinvent those feelings. So I'll use Call of Duty 2 as a reference. So it's something that's, like, dear to my heart, at least. So then I, like, just bought the game on Steam for $20. Played some old Call of Duty 2 and just was like, how does this work in VR? Like, how can kill streaks work in VR? I'll just appear like a radio on your belt because they had radios in World War II, maybe a map you would point at, and just kind of like converted as much systems as I could to VR, which hadn't been done before. And, you know, it took that project took another year, and people liked it. It was a good map. You could jump in, and a lot of people are like, this feels pretty much just like Call of Duty in VR. It's a little laggy because, you know, VR chat's networking isn't the best, but what can you do about that? I got rid of as much lag as I could, made it perform as well as I could, and did the networking as best I could, and threw in as many systems as I could, all the perks, all the kill streaks I wanted, have like a big roster of them, and it's a cool project.
Yeah, because I remember you joining off of you, or you invited me to, like, an early build like a year or so ago, where you had like one gun and it was just a bunch of gray cubes. I was like, what is this? And you're like, it's Call of Duty VR. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, all right, man, this guy is crazy. That's how it is whenever. Well, I'm just saying as a joke, because, like, whenever I have, like, I hang out with my world creator friends, like, even when I used to roleplay in Neon Divide or Kalos Row back in the day, I was shown the map within, like, a couple weeks of it being created, and it was just a bunch of gray cubes. And then, like, a mad guy was like, this is gonna be a hospital here, and this is like the bar. And I was just like, he's like pointing at a cube, and I was just like, this guy's off his rocker, dude. He's like, yeah, it's gonna be super cool stuff, and you'd be able to, like, shoot guns, and, like, you can, like, kill people, and then, like, also, like, you know, you will, like, dice roll and stuff. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, get off the meds, dude.
No, yeah, that's. Remember I was telling you earlier about like how it's like rough to do Twitter trailers for me on my new project right now.
Yeah.
That's the exact feeling I have. Is that creator is it's like you know what you're gonna make and you have the skills. You know it's just gonna fucking take months. So you can envision it in your mind already, and as it's coming together, you're like learning all these new things, and you're like, this is gonna be awesome. You can tell within the first week what your world's gonna be like.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is it's not gonna look like that for anyone else for months and months and months. So it's just that level of like, you guys don't get it, like you don't understand how cool this is going to be, and having like no support pretty much throughout all of that, and just being like, I don't need the fucking support, you guys will understand when it's done.
Exactly. I feel that whenever I was like pitching the idea for my Avatar showcase before I even had the set, and people are like, "Yeah, okay, dude." They're like, "Yeah, you're crazy." And then when I got it made, and I was like, "Here it is," they're like, "Oh, that's what you meant." So like it wasn't. Yeah, it's like one of those
Sorry, don't
moments.
mind me.
Oh, he's got some legitis, you know, it happens.
Yeah, I got a stretch.
Yeah,
that happens.
yeah.
I guess it affects everyone.
Yes.
Your world as well. You were experiencing some of the same, so we could both emphasize.
Oh,
Sorry,
shit.
Oh my god.
Oh,
everything's going
God.
crazy.
He's got-
Oh no. The war was rough for me, man. Everything's busted.
Reminds me of like the Futurama. You get the bonitis, bro. You're just like, oh, like,
Yeah, get the bonitis.
you're just like breaking up. And
You
shit.
know, Rebel. We
What?
got that second trailer, and now might be the perfect.
Oh
time.
yeah. Let's put
gonna be
the
honest,
second
while I
trailer
mess
in
with
real
this stuff.
quick. Yeah. Let me just put this in real quick. Yeah, I already loaded it up.
What if somebody made Call of Duty in VR?
True.
There's a way over there. Yo, I'm Dinky from Dinky Studios, and I've spent the last year working on a game inspired by my favorite old-school Call of Duty games. Jam-packed with 30 ranks of guns, perks, and kill streaks. Start with classic bolt-action rifles like the Springfield and the Kar-9 8K. Rank up and advance through some of the most iconic World War II weapons.
Every rank will be given a new gameplay mechanic, from weapons to perks and kill streaks. Mix and match perks to create over 200 unique classes. Perks will unlock brand new and unique weapons. Combine 3 perks in unique and interesting ways that completely change how you play the game. Do well enough and unlock explosive kill streaks. Earn them in game and wreak total havoc. PC VR desktop and Quest 2 compatible, so no one gets left behind.
Oh
What are you
shit.
waiting for? Gun 'em down, out now.
Yeah. All I can say is from this trailer is the Germans suck. They can't shoot you for shit. They're like stormtroopers.
Dude, true, honestly.
True and real. But yeah.
That was actually a really good joke. It took me a second to fully get it, but that was a solid joke. I
Yeah.
don't know how many people, whoever gets it is going to fully appreciate that one. Takes a little bit of history knowledge, though.
Yeah.
And Star Wars knowledge.
Exactly. I like history. I took history in college.
I took history in college, too. I wanted to be a history teacher.
If I was to be a teacher, I wanted to be a history teacher because that shit easy as fuck, dog. It already happened, so you already know the answer. Because like,
Dude, true.
yeah, exactly. You'd be like, World War II, Hitler was bad, and then someone would be like, no, actually, I'm like, bro, no, you can't argue with me. No, this happened. This guy got 10 kills. No, he only got 8 kills. No, it happened, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the second trailer for Cut 'Em Down. I like that trailer a lot more than the other one. The first one I was trying to make it more cinematic, but didn't
Yeah.
really explain anything well.
No, I gotcha. I think the only inaccuracy with the trailers we've seen here is that everyone's like a German or American when in reality you play Gunning Down. Everyone's like a big titty anime girl, so I mean that's an upgrade.
Yeah, that's true. The real war. What they don't want you to know. The
Yeah,
actual
the
history.
waifu wars, man. That's the real combat, bro.
Yep. And if anyone wants to know why you don't see him in real life anymore, well, it just didn't go well for them.
Yeah,
They were put
exactly.
right on the front lines.
Yeah, exactly. I feel it.
was a rough war.
They all suffer from TWS. It's just thick waifu syndrome. I suffer from every day. That's why when I look down, I can't see my feet. It's a serious concern, an issue. I think FOV
That's a serious
debuff.
ailment, man.
Yeah, I have a FOV
That's
debuff.
rough.
Yeah, it's a debuff. I got nerfed.
Got nerfed hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Some might say it's a buff, though.
It's a buff in other
Maybe for
ways.
other people.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword, you know. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so yeah, Gun 'Em Down. So obviously it was inspired by you playing Call of Duty 2 specifically. I never played COD 2, but I remember playing COD 3 on the 360, and like it was just like a class system. You pick the medic, and he has a shotgun. You pick like the rifle guy, and he has like the M1 Garand or whatever. And you pick the SMG guy, whichever one did, and you get the Thompson or the fucking whatever the other gun is, the German one, and then you run around and you're just, you know, that's basically what it was. And you also had tanks in it too. Fuck, could you imagine if you
Yeah.
actually had tanks and gun them down? And be like, fucking noob, get out of the
That'd be
tank.
wild.
You'd be like, get out of the tank, noob. I mean, they do that in Pavlov, but you just gotta get the RPG
Oh,
and
yeah.
fuck them up. Get the bazooka.
Nice. It's crazy. I don't know how many people played Call of Duty 3, but I played it. And it's crazy to think at one point Call of Duty was like, what about like vehicles and classes? They straight up copied Battlefield. I was like, as I was doing this project, I was
Yeah.
re-looking up Wikipedias. Call of Duty 3 came out a few years after Battlefield, so they must have been like, wait a minute, people want classes, they want vehicles, and it must have not
Yep.
worked for them because not a single Call of Duty after that gave it a shot. They're just like, you know what? Let's just do our own thing. What we do works. Let's never change again.
Exactly. I mean, World of
Because
War.
Call of Duty. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, COD like World of War was like the one I played a lot before, like as the old like World War II. Because I never played the current ones. I never played like Vanguard or anything like that. But like World of War was like that one that I remember everyone playing and like the bouncing Bettys and all this shit and just like seeing people's arms and legs get blown off. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? What's going on in this
Yeah.
game? You know?
World of War had a good soundtrack. I was actually listening to that while I worked. I rediscovered it and I was like, dang. They
Yeah.
just decided to make like really cool electric guitar rock music for their game. And
You
I was
have
like, all right, cool.
you have the guy from 24 in it.
True.
What's his name? Fuck, I can't remember now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember that.
Yeah, that guy. He plays the main character, and you're like, oh shit, dude. I watched 24 once, or he was played as Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 5. Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh yeah.
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
That's his name. That's a hard name to remember, actually. That
I
is a
remembered.
good voice actor, though.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, that's the guy from
Did you
Call of
ever-
Duty. My mom's like,
You know
no.
what's crazy?
Go ahead.
I didn't know this when I was a kid, but apparently, have you heard of Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
That show.
Yeah. I watched it.
This is a Call of Duty 2. Apparently, a bunch of like all your friendly NPCs in Call of Duty 2 were a lot of them were like
Oh,
the actual
wow.
actors from
How
Band
am
of
I
Brothers
supposed to fit
voice
all of
acted
you
the
in such a
NPCs in Call of Duty you
tight
played with.
little
I didn't know
space?
that at all.
Oh shit.
I don't think I would have recognized that as a kid anyway, but yeah, I like relearned that when I was looking it up for reference, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool actually. They were popping off at the time, I guess.
Yeah,
But
like
I guess they've always been. Popping off.
I rewatched a bit of like Band because you can find clips, and like it's just interesting like how like that was following like history, but like it's in like a TV show, like episodic type of thing. Even though some of the details are a bit like fuzzy or like make believe or like, you know, they exaggerated a little bit based off of like the Band of Brothers book, but for the most part, like what happened. So like, you know, when people got shot in their ass, like that was real, or like. Or like how one guy just killed a bunch of POWs because he felt like it. He was just like, oh, what the fuck?
That's right.
so-
you know you
You know
need
what?
me.
You know it's a
Kelly,
good
who
ass
just
movie
resubscribed
for a
for
specific
37
reason.
months.
Oh, what's the name of it? Do you know that it's an old movie with Clint Eastwood? It's a World War II movie, actually. Probably like the only one he ever did that wasn't a cowboy movie.
Oh,
I can't remember the name of
shit.
it though.
Where
Do you
he's,
know what I'm talking about at all?
where he's actually in World War II?
Yeah. Clint Eastwood did a World War II movie. Apparently, it's really old. It's from like the 70s or the 60s or
Oh,
something.
let me see. Where he's like, are
Kelly's
you,
Heroes. I think it's called Kelly's
Oh,
Heroes.
okay.
I think that was the name.
Yo, Kelly,
But
thanks
that
for the 30
movie
for
is
7 months.
supposedly by a lot of like old vets, it was like touted as like the most realistic depiction of soldiers in World War II. And that movie is quite literally a bunch of soldiers are in France, like U.S. soldiers in France. You know,
Yeah.
they were like 18 to 20 or something like that. You know, they're all fighting a war. They got drafted to fight. So it's like, it's more realistic because they basically are just like, hey, you know, we heard about a bunch of Germans that are storing all this gold in a bank in one of these cities we're going to take anyway. If we go there and we get rid of all the Germans guarding it, there's not that much. We can just take all the gold for ourselves. And it's literally like, it's not heroic at all. Like people always talk about World War II and they're like, these super heroic guys, you know, they wanted to like dive on
No,
a
they just
grenade
want
to
some
save
money.
everyone, which I'm sure happened. Yeah, this movie's literally just, it's a bunch of 18 to 20, you know, 18 to 20 year olds back in the 40s that are like, fuck it, dude, I want to go make some money. And they just, it's an old movie, but the way the actors act in the movie, it's not kind of that like, I don't want to hate on it because I'm sure a lot of people like it. It's a good message to send, but it's not that, in my opinion, kind of overdone. I'm heroic and I'm gonna save every puppy I see, and any man's a good man, and I have to save everyone, and everyone's coming home alone. It's literally just like, we're in a war, life sucks, and I'm a young kid. Like, I want money, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I want like women. Like it's literally, it's
love
hard to
women.
describe. No war movies really do that though. It's kind of, in a way, Hollywood has almost like glorified World War II to an unrealistic point these days. Where
Oh,
just
yeah.
everyone's a big hero. Everyone's a big damn hero. And it's like, realistically, if you think about it, it's like, no, some of those were kids drafted in the damn 40s of all times. Like, people weren't nearly as nice in the 40s. So
No. Yeah, you're
you had
right.
a lot of
Like, I remember watching, there's a Canadian, there's very few, like, World War films that, like, focus on Canadians. And one of them was called Passchendaele. It's about World War One. And, like, it talks about, you know, World War One, but then it has this random, like, love story that makes no fucking sense that nobody gives a fuck about. And, like, how, like, the girl, like, gets over her, like, morphine addiction in, like, a day. I'm like, that's not how that works. And, like,
nice.
and then the main character,
I'm just gonna do morphine now.
I'm just this random love interest, and you know, it's whatever. But like, it had like this really intense like fight scene for 10 minutes where like it's just like brutal, just like literally dudes just beating the shit at each other with their bare fists and like just like fucking just going. I was like, oh my god. I was like, holy shit. Like that's the only scene in the movie people are like, wait, that's actually realistic. Everything else is like, what the fuck. But like, just the raw like someone taking a like the butt of their gun and just start bashing the guy's head in, and then the other guy shoots him, and then they just rinse and repeats, and like people have brass knuckles and they're just like drowning people, and I'm like, oh my god. But like that's how it was.
God damn. Yeah.
Or like there's that movie that came out, or a book was called All Quiet on the Western Front. So that was a book.
Oh yeah.
And then it came out as a movie, like, and I don't know when, like the 40s or 50s or maybe in the 20s, I don't even know. And then they remade it again on Netflix just recently, and I watched it. Again, it has a little bit of like inaccuracies, but like it shows from the point of view, like the Germans' point of view, which is like rare in a lot of like war films, because a lot of films always focus on, hell yeah, brother, it's America, brother, boom, boom, kill the bad guys. You're bad, you know, like that's what a lot of like war films focus on, because nobody wants to show like the Germans, because they're like, they're bad and they did bad things, so we can't show what they did. Okay, like that's bad stuff, like they have to lose. So it just shows from like the point of view of a soldier, like a young like 18-year-old who like signs up, and then like he like slowly like he like, in the beginning he's super happy with his friends, like, yeah, we're gonna go fight, yeah, for the fatherland, and like all his friends die, and then by the end he's just depressed as fuck, and he's just like super angry and just impulsive. And like the moment of the whole thing is like the war ends, and for World War One, and like the Germans still wanted to fight even to like the last minute, which is true, which is fucked up. Like you're sending people to die for nothing because the war is going to end, like the amethyst or whatever, like the surrender is going to happen. And then the main character like starts fighting like a French soldier, and then he dies right when the war ends. Like just the moment, moment, like the war ends, he's just sitting there bleeding out, and then that was it. Like that was real. Like people died within like 1 minute of the war ending, and I was just like, wow, like careless death for nothing. Like you already lost. You might as well just go home, you know. But you know,
yeah,
that's war for you.
The whole thing's like a crazy bit of history.
Yeah.
Right there.
Or like, you know, or some people like really like Saving Private Ryan, like the beach, the Normandy landing. People always say like that's like super realistic. A lot of World War II veterans like, yeah, that's exactly what it was like. It was just chaos. We just wanted to get off that beach.
That's a good ass movie.
Oh yeah,
That is a good ass movie.
Tom
though.
Hanks, and then Band of Brothers was co-produced
man.
by Tom Hanks. So
Oh, was it? I didn't know that. That's cool.
yeah, he was on like the executive producer for something like that. So yeah, a lot of stuff. But then you realize how like fucked up war is. Like people don't realize like it's not just all like those are bad guys and I'm the good guy. It's like no, like people did fucked up things on both sides. Like it shows like in Band of Brothers, like there's a bunch of POWs that on Normandy, the paratroopers come in and Band of Brothers, and then one of the lieutenants just like gives them a bunch of cigarettes and just kills them all, straight up. Like they're surrendered.
Damn.
But apparently that
I
was
can remember that scene.
Yeah.
She was rough.
yeah, but apparently, like, people thought, like, that was fake or like, that technically happened because they were given orders not to take prisoners on Normandy because they didn't have the resources to, like, put them in jail and, like, you know, put them in a camp or something. So they're just like, if you find us, like, you just have to kill them or leave them. And actually, they weren't told to, like, leave them because then they would just run away and be like, oh, yeah, there's these Americans around here. So they had to just kill them. Like, that's fucked up. But that's what happened. That's history. So
It's kind of crazy how there's still like some of that stuff is like still coming out even where it's like people are like, you know, actually we've been teaching it for this way for the longest time, but actually this is kind of how it went down. And you're like, damn, okay.
well, yeah, there's a lot of series like on Netflix. Some of them kind of like exaggerate some details, like the Nazi hunter one or whatever.
Oh.
Well, yeah, they're like, yeah, Hitler's
Think
still
of the people who
alive.
made John Wick. That one's gonna be fucking good.
Yeah,
Or wait, we talked about a different one.
it's the one with Al Cappuccino or whatever, and he's just like, he's hunting Nazis in like
Oh,
Argentina, and then they're just
Tarantino's movie.
yeah,
Oh no.
or it was a series.
I don't know if we're thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like some Netflix series, and like it's like, I mean, it's based on history that was real. There was, you know, Nazis and Germans are hiding in like South America, but then it just shows like Hitler being like, "Yeah, I'm still alive." I'm like, "Okay, dude, like relax." Now this is a little bit fiction here.
Yeah. And it begs the question, should we be using history for our entertainment and taking out the true historical value? I say as I make a fucking game where you can heal from bullet wounds in 5 seconds.
I don't know. I guess it'd be like making history about Romans, and then you're like, actually, Julius Caesar actually lived. And then he was just like, yeah, fuck you guys, and just pull out a flamethrower and start burning everybody. And you'd be like, yeah, I don't know.
It's as long as you don't take it too far away from the truth, I think people are fine with it.
I guess so. I mean, there are scenes like where people completely flip history, like, what's it called? Inglorious Bastards, where it's just like that was completely fictional. Like that didn't happen. Like they didn't just go to the theater and just start shooting Hitler 100 times.
Oh, yeah, true.
But, you know, that was fictional. But you know, I guess to each their own.
Yeah.
People make interesting little
Yep.
quirks to history. But anyway, enough
That's
about history.
Who knows?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, who knows what we'll like, how we'll remember it in another 100 years. But
True, or some people could like change history about the Vietnam War, or like the Iraq War, or fucking Afghanistan, and be like, actually, the spaceships and aliens. I'd be like, what?
yeah, out of spaceships and aliens. Imagine 100 years from now, they're like, yeah, so there's this war where a bunch of aliens came down, and you know, humans had to fight them and stuff. But that's why we don't mess with outer space anymore.
Yeah, the space landing. That was the last time, bro. So.
Last time.
Yeah, the last time. I don't know. It's interesting how history changes and stuff like that and whatever. Anything else you want to say about Gun 'Em Down, or should I go on to the next?
Coming down. I don't know what's to say. It's Call of Duty in VR. I released it. A lot of people liked it. Oh, I guess I could talk about how it was received. So remember how I was saying I wanted to like just make what the best thing to succeed was. So I was like Call of Duty in VR.
Yeah.
A lot of people did like it, and I'm grateful for every single one of them because a lot of people in VR chat fucking hated it. Like, they didn't say as much. People were pretty nice, but I could tell from like joining friend groups and stuff. A lot of the things I'd see is people would be playing it. It'd be like, this game's fucking busted. I can't stand this. I'm dying like a billion times over. Or like some people would just, they would stop after a round and they'd be like, I can't play this anymore. And they would just leave their friend group. And these are like people I know would like never leave their friend group. So I was like, damn. That was me getting Call of Duty right. Like, that's right on the money. But to see the like Call of Duty rage I unleashed amongst friend groups, I was like, that's rough. So it's like, it was both. I was proud of it because it like did what I wanted to do. Like, I released it. It felt like how it should have been. It's a really competitive game, and the people that get into it like it. But at the same time, the one thing I wasn't anticipating was that VR chat is more of a social game. So a lot of the players aren't competitive gamers, and you need to have a certain like. You have to have thick skin to deal with getting shit on until you're good. Because that's how that game works. Like, you jump into it, you're going to get shit on by the people that are better than you, and you have to be able to, like, improve through that adversity and actually get good at the game while getting shit on. Because there's no MMR. There's, like, no skilled matchmaking or anything. So. But that was... I didn't expect that, and it was kind of interesting because I was... like, always had those thoughts about I shouldn't do this. This is like the easy route and all that. And then I learned, oh, the thing I thought was the easy route, like, it wasn't necessarily the easy route. Like, there is some learning to be had with trying to do like the easy solution or something. So I wish I had started like a while ago, just being like, this is the thing that's going to succeed. And whoever does that is just taking the easy route. I should have done that a while ago, because now I've learned, even if you try and do what you think is the easy route, it's not the easy route, and you're going to learn a lot of things when you're done. You're really just taking the successful route and trying to learn how it works. So there's no reason to like, yeah, if something sounds like it should work, you should try it and see if it actually does. 'Cause fuck it, why not succeed?
What's the biggest compliment someone has given to you about your worlds or your content?
The biggest compliment. I can't remember any one particular one, but people have said some really nice things. Like, someone reached out and basically said, like, this reminds me exactly of like playing couch co-op of Call of Duty back in the day, only I'm able to like experience it with my new friends in VR chat. That was really nice because that was like what I was going for. So that person like felt exactly what I wanted to create, which was good. When people said like, oh, I didn't know about Ruby at all, because that's how we sold the game. It's like we're using someone else's property to sell our work in a sense. So for someone to say, I never heard about Ruby at all, I played your game and I liked it so much I looked up Ruby. They're basically playing an unknown, very small unknown creator's work, liking it so much that they check out a massive creator. So I got to be the one kind of benefiting the bigger creator. That was kind of cool. That was like a really cool, you know, experience. And it was nice someone like actually said that, like reached out to say that. That was cool.
Yeah.
But some people are really nice, actually. Like, despite I was kind of Remnant VR, people were really nice about, but with the Call of Duty one, I was expecting, I was like, it's gonna be a mixed bag. People are gonna like just absolutely get pissed at me and be like, this shit's broken, I hate you for making it. Everyone's been really mature. Like, people are complaining about shit that's broken, but not in a sense of like, you did this and I hate you for it. Just, hey, this is unfair. I think this is unfair. Everyone's been like, and then I get really like nice compliments. So everyone's been like super positive and complimentary, which is great, because it's like, that's like the whole goal of like doing this route of like making VR chat with Patreon support, is to put it out there for the community. So it's nice to not be hated. Call of Duty.
I gotcha. We've been going just about 2 hours, so I want to get some audience questions in, or chat questions. So does anybody have any questions in the chat for Twitch chat, and anybody in the audience sitting here, because there actually are people here, does anyone here want to ask a question to Dinky or myself? If you do, raise your hand. Someone in the back? Who is that? Because I can't see my nameplates for fuck. Is that Cool75? Do you have a question? Or that's just their foot. Oh, that's their foot. It's like they're waving their foot. I was so confused. Also, I'm like hiding the avatar there. I'll show it. Yeah, it's just their foot.
Yeah, get a close up on the foot. That's a nice shoe.
That's a nice shoe right there. I was so confused. I thought that was their hand. So no questions in the audience for Dinky? All right, well, I mean, do you have any questions for me, Dinky?
The immediate thing I thought is, I was just like, I wanted to compliment you. This is a really fun experience. Like,
oh, thank
it's really
you.
cool to see someone doing interviews in VR, and it's like fun to actually like, 'cause I've seen yours before, but to actually like be here, like sitting in the chair and like have the whole stage. It's like it's cool to basically be here through VR. So I really like what you've set up.
I got you. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, we got a question. Awesome. I'll have to look at the document real quick here. Insert 1 to the document? I mean, I don't see anything. Am I tripping balls? Oh, wait. Oh, now I see them. What the fuck? Oh, there was 2 oh, my bad. I'm just a terrible streamer. Okay, I figured it out. So Blaz asked the question, spawn invulnerability and gun him down when?
Fucking Blabs. It's a meme.
Oh, it's a meme.
It's an inside joke.
Oh, okay, because after playing Gun 'em Down, I played Instagib, and there is like a spawn invulnerability for like 2 seconds, just so you don't get insta-fucked.
True. Yeah, that's a good idea. Do you think Gun 'em Down should have that?
If you have spawn vulnerability, then maybe you shouldn't be able to shoot either. Like, you do 0 damage. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be interesting. So the meme is it does have spawn invulnerability actually. Like, you get I think it's 5 seconds when you respawn that you can't be killed. And then I was in the map one time hanging out with Blabs, and someone like, we were just talking about the game. I don't think they knew I was the world creator, and they're like, this game is like cool and all, but it really needs like spawn invulnerability. Like, it's so busted without it. And I was just kind of like, oh no, I think it does have spawn invul. Like, me, the one who made the fucking world, like, oh, I think it has spawn invulnerability. I'm pretty sure it has it. And then he's like, no, it doesn't. I've checked. It does not have spawn invulnerability. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it has spawn invulnerability, dude. It's like, that's where the meme comes from. Is this one guy was basically like, just he was so damn sure that my game worked one way, and I was like, all right. I'm not the type of person to jump and make, I made the world, this is how it works, yada yada. So I was just kind of like, all right. I just had that little interaction, and Blab saw it.
All right, so another question we have from Jib is, have you ever had a holy shit moment where you were speechless over something or so everybody else made that you never thought was possible?
Recently, definitely the thing High made, where you can kind of like touch other people's avatars and interact with that, because I've been wanting that forever in VR chat, and he was able to find out a way to do it. So that was definitely a holy shit moment. I was like, damn, that's cool.
Yeah, because the only other time that would happen is if you had 2 people in the same play space, and then they happen to live together, and then you could touch each other's avatars and pick them up and toss them around. Some WWE shit right there.
True.
And yeah, because I know Dust Bunny runs a class where she teaches like tango and like, you know, ballroom dancing, and like how it works is, well, both people are like across the world from each other, so it's like very like laggy. But like if that new technology from High, then they could actually hold hands, you know?
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, teach you how to dance, so then you can, so when you get married in the real world, and then you know how to dance for your wife or your husband or whatever.
Yeah,
exactly.
Heidi, I'm gonna learn to dance for the wedding. I'm gonna go dance with anime bitches in VR chat.
Hell yeah, that's free. You don't have to pay for it. Yeah. Mura asks, Remnant VR 2 when? Yeah. When's the 2 coming out?
Who could say? I would start working on Remnant VR 2 immediately if Rooster Teeth seemed to give a shit. Or the different version of that statement is if Rooster Teeth, you know, retweeted or mentioned how much they liked the project and gave some sort of signal boost to their fans, then I'd be, you know what, probably should make Remnant VR 2.
I think you should make my pool idea first from their live stream beach volleyball first, and then have the Ruby characters in it. And then send it to Rooster Teeth.
Oh, that's big. Wait,
yeah.
What if I do that? I just set up... Oh, that would actually be huge. Like, this is not something I would ever plan to do, but I'm going to just dream because this would be insane. The VR chat devs work together with me or any world creator, and they work with, like, Overwatch and Honkai Star and all the, like, big waifu games.
Yeah,
VR chat's already a waifu game anyway. And they literally just make volleyball, and it's like, hey, collab with Honkai Star. Look at this, you know, we got big-titted anime chick playing.
Yeah,
you know?
volleyball.
Like, literally just collab with all the waifus. That would be the smartest play by far, is just collab with other waifu games and make beach volleyball.
I'm telling you, literally every day in VR chat. Okay, VR chat is just your fantasy anime harem that you get to develop in real time, okay? And everybody's an NPC. I mean, everybody's a person. And you get to interact with them, and you get to have to go to a beach episode every day. Now we need, like, listen, we got beer pong, we got pool. Where the fuck is the beach volleyball, bro? Like, you're like, oh, I can serve in, like, and spike it, and then like you see all their physics and stuff. Yeah, it's a good time. I love physics. I love Danic Bones. Big investor.
Oh yeah.
I paid $20 for that back in the day. You know?
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. That's a very good joke, Dinky. VR chat devs working with people. Oh, that's a real one, I think. Yeah.
Me over here like, the VR chat does ain't bad. I try to avoid the negativity towards them. They work hard. They just probably got a lot on their plate. Take them in a bunch of different directions.
I think they should just go all in, okay? Like, listen here, okay? We all know squish bones are for very particular button presses, okay? They should just be honest, you know? Just don't beat around the bush. Just be like, yeah, we know what it's for. It's for your hot anime girls, okay? Or your big Giga Chad with his big balls, okay? Like, that's what it's for, okay? Like, just own up to it.
Yeah.
And more people will probably be like, okay. You know?
There's also like kind of like business proof that like the kind of like trying to keep your game like for everyone and more normal, like the metaverse, it ain't going so well for the metaverse, and that's what they're all in on. Metaverse is like, can't have anime waifus, can't have anything degenerate, we just got to sell it to everyone that we can get more numbers. That ain't working.
You know what?
Whatever VR chat's doing is working.
Maybe we should get like Udon boxing again, but then with the squish bones. So when you punch someone, it like fucks with their face or with their personalities. You punch their personality, it does critical damage. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Right,
See.
Personality.
See, you wanted world interactions, right? You wanted to have like be able to interact with people's physics. So I mean, there you go. World props.
True.
So I'm just saying, you know, have a bunch of people, sweaty gamers, going like, I want to beat you up, and they're just both hot anime girls. Yeah, and they're just, you know.
That's a duality right there.
Yeah, and then
two sweaty gamers just sweating and punching each other while actually two hot anime chicks.
Yes, and then they're also drinking heavily as well. That's
God,
true.
if only we could go into the past and show people that and be like, this is the future, and just two fat sweaty dudes in like VR headsets punching each other virtually, and it's two hot anime chicks.
What do you mean? That's me every weekend. I'm just punching people at the FPT heaven, and I can't do anything. I'm like, I'll beat you up, bro. Don't talk to my girlfriend like that. Just like, I'll see you in battle this later.
You should be proud to know you're at the peak of human civilization. Hundreds and hundreds of years of technological development has led to this.
Yes.
And you get to experience it.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, there are some interesting worlds I've seen recently where you can like shrink down and climb people, like Attack on Titan. You know?
Oh, that's crazy. I've seen some of those. I don't even know how they do it.
Yeah, they used the climbing thing that was like a prefab made all those years ago, those climbing carnival maps, and then someone's like, wait, what if you could climb people instead? And they could also grab people. If you're a giant, you can grab people and chuck them and go like, wee, or they can climb you.
Nice.
So like that's content. Like, who doesn't want to climb a giant anime girl or a giant cat girl? I mean, like, come on, like the content writes itself, you know?
True.
Yeah.
We could all be so lucky.
Yeah, or you know what? Maybe we should just. There's other cool ideas, man. Like you could like make like Final Fantasy like turn-based, but everyone's a hot anime girl, just like that new game you just said, the fucking Genshin one.
True.
That's literally what that is. It's literally just turn-based Final Fantasy, but everyone's just hot. You know, like just make that in VR chat. You know.
That'd be the realistic, smart approach. Is just take any popular VR game that works in VR and be like that, but with hot anime chicks.
That's what I'm saying, man. Don't you just want to like play with a bunch of like cat girls? They're also quirky and cute, and then you know it's just part of the gameplay. You know.
Too true. Imagine cat girls. That's wild.
I know. Or like, you know, see all these horror games in VR chat? They should just have like a cute anime girl just chasing you. And then you're like, "Oh no, don't catch me. Oh no, she got me."
Oh no. Hey, people like it.
I think it'd be a good time. Why does it have to be scary clowns? Why can't it just be a nice anime girl that it's like, "Oh no, I caught you." And then they cuddle with you. Like, that sounds like a good time. That'd be like the most popular game mode in VR chat.
True.
Yeah.
What if they just kill you, though?
Uh-oh. True.
Hold up.
Hold up. What if like, Your torture is you send them into the ball pit, and then they like hang out in the ball pit with you. You know, like maybe you're rewarded for losing, but maybe like
Oh, so we'll take
if
it
you
that
if you
direction. Everything bad is good.
yeah, but if you work hard to escape, then you get like the higher tier anime girls, you know, just like your visual novels, you know, you get like the purple haired girl, and you're like, oh shit, like the quiet shy one, like, oh man, I really want that one, you know.
It is kind of crazy, like we don't have in VR chat some kind of waifu game like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels like that would fit right into VR chat.
Yeah, we need an
Some sort of
AI,
waifu
dude.
game.
We need an AI. What do you mean? I mean, the cute waifus are the people you interact with.
That's true.
It-
Maybe the work's already done. You
Yeah.
couldn't compete, like AI couldn't compete.
Don't you know that VR chat is just like Persona? Like every person you interact with has like a friendship score, and it starts with 0 out of 10 hearts. And the more times you hang out with them and give them head pats, you gain 1 heart. And when it gets to 10 out of 10, that's where you get to cuddle with them and watch Starship Troopers, you know?
Imagine this is like a system. Like VR chat actually makes this. Like you're interacting with someone, right? And
Yeah.
above their head, it's like a video game. It says like how much they like you, and you say some dumb joke, and then you just see above there like they click a
-1.
button, they do this, and they click something, and then it goes down. And you're like, wait a minute, and if it hits a certain level, you're just auto blocked. Like imagine that's just VR chat's existence. All the antisocial people.
What do you mean?
hate
That's
it.
that's
Like,
the invisible.
this game sucks.
There is an invisible rating, okay? Like when you didn't say like happy birthday to your friend last week, that's like a minus like 50 DKP. That's minus like 50 friendship
Oh,
score.
that's rough.
That's rough, dude. That's a bad
that's
time.
rough.
That's a bad time, bro. You don't want to mess with that, bro. Yeah.
That would be something.
Yeah, and then you get into the scenario where you try to play Persona 5 and you try to hit on every single character and you get them all to 10 out of 10 friendship score. And then it's Valentine's Day and they all show up at the exact same time and you're like, ah, shit, man, I'm just a player, you know? Fuck, man, I got like 15 waifus, bro. I got fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get in some trouble.
Yeah, that's VR chat. That's me.
It really is.
That's me when I play VR chat.
That's you?
Yep. I have all these anime women,
There's-
and then they're all like, "Hey, want to hang out on Valentine's Day?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I gotta pick one out of like 20. Oh shit, dude. Fuck."
Just pick the one with the like murderous personality. It's the
Oh,
safest option. Like actually safest.
Oh, that'd be the content one?
Well, if you don't pick the murderous one, that's the content one.
I'm
She's gonna
well.
fucking murder you.
Well, if she tries to murder you, then that's just content. So like, because if you ever watched
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Chips back in the day with
that's one way to
Nuts,
look at it.
that's literally what it was. Like Nuts was like role playing as the Yandere, trying to stab him every day, and it was content. So I mean, like, he's like, "You talking to another girl?" And it's like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, I heard you singing to the other girl." You know, it's like, "Oh shit, that's content." You know.
God, I wish I could find a woman that wanted to murder me. That sounds so great.
Oh, play Yandere Simulator, but it's banned on Twitch.
Is it?
Yeah, it's banned on Twitch.
Damn.
Because
It's
the
one of those like just content games too.
Well, it's because it has like, you know, murder in it, but also everyone's a high schooler, and then you can also, you know,
Oh,
education
that
role
makes
play.
sense,
So that's probably why. Has those elements
huh?
in
I
it.
see. I see.
Yeah. Also, the guy who made that game is weird. That's also another thing.
I don't know much about it other than someone chases you with a knife and tries to kill you.
No, you
I don't know
are
how
the girl. No,
educational it
no.
gets.
Like, the game is you play as her. Like you play as the Yandere, and
Oh, I'm thinking of a different one.
yeah. No, you play as the chick, and you get to customize your character just like VR chat essentially. And then your senpai that you want is looking at other girls, so you have to literally just kill everybody for your senpai to finally notice you.
Oh,
Yeah, you really have to like get away with
What?
murder. That's the whole concept of the
that's
game.
one way to do it.
Yeah, that's
What if you
VR
kill
chat.
all of them and he still rejects you?
Maybe there is an ending. I don't know. I never played it, but I saw some people playing it, and you know, it's an interesting concept. I mean, let's be real here. This game is literally just VR chat. I mean, Doki Doki Literature Club is also just VR chat. You write poems, you think it's all cool, and then suddenly some weird shit happens. You're like, oh shit.
Man,
Yeah.
if VR chat was like Sword Art and people could kill you if there was enough drama, that'd be rough. We'd have like half the player base, maybe less.
You talk to my e-girl? just like, oh my god, he's dead. Yeah, I take all his fucking linens. My VR box is mine, dude. I take his club too.
Oh man.
I believe it. Anyone else have any last minute questions for Dinky or myself? Anyone in chat? Anyone in the audience? If not, we're gonna wrap up here in a sec.
How'd you meet Dinky?
How'd I meet Dinky? Yeah, how did we meet? How did I?
Oh, I could tell it. I can tell it because it only makes sense that you don't remember.
Oh,
See,
shit.
me and Rebel met in only the most natural VR chat fashion, and that was both being drunk as shit at a party.
Oh, you mean like one of Lanfear's parties? I think.
Probably.
Yeah. That's the only time I can
Couldn't fully
remember.
say.
Yeah, I think it was one of those
I
times.
just know at one point we bumped into each other and started talking. I was like, oh, so you do interviews? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, I make worlds and stuff. And you're like, that could be kind of a cool interview or something. And that was like months ago. And you reached out, I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, true and real. That's actually how it happened. I also did play Revenant VR back in the day, so I kind of knew who you were, and I did talk to you before that. So, yeah, real and true. Yeah, we were drunk. Well, I'm not like drunk. I just get a buzz because I don't drink too much, but enough to remember things. And then I was like, hey, we should interview this guy because I don't really get to interview world creators. So here we are.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad you did it. I hope your audience enjoyed it. I don't know how entertaining it is. I tried to like hold at bay any nerdy thoughts as much as I could because I don't want to be like talking about coding and whatnot. It would bore your audience to death.
What are some cool things you look like to see implemented in VR chat, whether Udon improvements or ideas for prefabs?
Definitely save states, which feels like it's soon because that's a big thing that's missing right now. The ability to like, manipulate people's avatars in the world so you can make them like actually grab the guns or like, pull the bolt back or grab the knife nicely and whatever, just so it actually is immersive. So it looks like they're doing what they're doing in your world. That'd be big.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This question, Blab had the question, what are Dinky's top 3 favorite worlds, VR chat worlds?
Top 3 favorite worlds. Well, obviously number 1 is the studio world. I mean,
Oh, thanks,
that's
man.
easy.
Thanks, man, for letting
Gotta
me
give it to
go.
that.
Thank you, dude. Thank you, man. This world that you
Number
never...
2 is Gun 'em Down, and number 3 is Remnant VR. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I really liked Fate of the Earblast. I made a whole avatar for that world. That's a good world.
Okay.
What other worlds are I know there's a lot I know I like, but it's hard to like narrow it down to 3. I'd say Blackout. Blackout's pretty fun. I'm picking like the newer ones that I'm remembering first. Yeah.
Blackout's fun.
Blackout's the new like spin on murder.
Yeah. I like it. I like it because
got some
like
cool
anyone can
improvements.
kill anyone. That's the whole point. In murder, I'm kind of just running around like being like, oh no, I can't do anything. It kind of reminds me of like Blackout reminds me of like Trouble in Terror Zone, where everyone gets a gun, and then you get punished if you're an innocent, you kill another innocent. But if you're a traitor, then you have a good time. And the detective's like, oh shit, this guy killed this guy.
Yeah.
I want to see Trouble in Terror Zone in VR chat. It's basically Blackout with guns. But maybe the round will
That would be
last.
cool.
Maybe the rounds will last like 10 seconds because everyone's like, yeehaw, pew 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 pew.
That's kind of like Ghost. I never played Trouble in Terrorist Town, but maybe that's like Ghost. Have you ever played Ghost in here?
Yeah. It's like Ghost essentially. I guess Ghost is the closest to Trouble in Terror Zone. The only difference is that there is a detective role, and they have a DNA scanner in Trouble in Terror Zone, and it literally tells you who killed who. And especially if you're a traitor, like, well, you can also detect like an innocent killed an innocent. You're supposed to, not do those things. And then how they balanced it with like a karma system. So when you kill an innocent, your karma goes down. So next round you do like less and less damage to the point where like you do 0 damage. So it rewards you for like not just randomly killing everyone as an innocent, but just being paranoid.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, and then if you get low enough
'Cause
karma,
the way,
it just bans you from the server in Gmod. That's how it works. Permanently.
That's kind of neat because like the way Murder and Blackout and all those work, it's not really so much of like, oh, the detective's trying to hunt me and I better be careful. You just like murder people when you can. The detective isn't really much of a threat unless he finds a gun in a drawer. After he collects all his, I guess the clues. Wait, no, maybe it's there. Maybe I'm dumb. He's collecting clues to find who you are, and then he gets a gun, and he has no idea who you are, which doesn't make sense, and he just starts shooting people. So he's a shitty detective, but he did detective work. Just poorly.
Well, in Triple Terrorism, you actually can like get DNA off of weapons, and it tells you who clicked this weapon, and like it tells you how the person died. Oh, they died from explosion. Oh, they died from a headshot wound, and it happened 30 seconds ago. And then when you click the DNA, in Triple, it pings you the location of it doesn't tell you who did it. It just pings the location every like 10 seconds. So if you keep scanning,
so they have to keep moving.
So they keep scanning. The person is like ding 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 ding. It'll like the person next to you. You're like, oh, and you're like, oh shit, he was a traitor. And it tells you like you have to search the body, and it'll tell you if they're a traitor or not.
That's pretty cool, actually. You know what they could do? This might be cool. Is instead of the detective in like Murder just kind of being like, let me just find clues in drawers and then get a gun and have no idea who it is. If it was like, imagine anytime there was a murder, you would like click on the body and it would give you a few letters. Like people have longer names, so just like a fraction, like a fourth of the person's name or like a tenth of the person's name or whatever's balanced. So you'd like actually start to decipher clues and figure out who it is. And then if you get lucky, you're like, maybe you like get it like a beginning letter, last letter, and you just kind of know who it is or something. That'd be kind of cool, I think. Like actually trying to figure out, uncover some clues and get closer to the truth.
Exactly. See,
But hey,
that's just a video game theory.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, ever
You're
watched
on Game Theory.
Game Theory of MatPat? Yeah. Just a video game theory. Okay, I think that's all the questions. All right, so is there anything you like to say? Like you can, is there your time to shine? Dinky, if you want to say, hey, I'm Dinky, and here's my Twitter, and here's my Patreon, or like, hey, I'm working on this really cool thing. It's coming out soon. This is the time where you get to shout out anything you want.
Oh, very cool. Thanks for letting me do that. So, I'm gonna guess you'll put it in chat. So the links in chat should be to my Twitter, which is where I post all of the trailers when I'm finally done, which is the most exciting thing. And I post progress as I work, so you can kind of see what I'm building and know what I'm up to and what's getting created for VR chat out there in some small section. And my Patreon's on there as well. The general goal of what I'm doing is I just want to make a bunch of like high quality games in VR chat that you can play with your friends for free. And I'm just trying to grow Patreon and just, use the money to just quit my job and do that. So if you want to support, I would be glad to have you. You also get some rewards in the worlds I make as well. But yeah.
Yeah, like gold guns.
Yeah, gold guns. You can get some gold gun skins. Exactly, but that's all I got.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dinky, for coming by, and I appreciate you for coming here because it's a rare opportunity to meet like a world creator that wants to come on and talk about like the games they made and stuff like that. A lot of other creators, they're very shy and like timid, and they're like, I don't know, I'm shy, and I'm like, but the worlds you make are cool, and they're like, I don't know. So it was nice to bring you on, and thank you so much, and hopefully everyone is excited. Should follow you on Twitter, so twitter.com/dinky_studio, and their Patreon at patreon.com/dinkystudios, and support you, and you get some golden guns and maybe some sneak peeks. I think you probably post on your Patreon for your upcoming projects and things like that, and exclusive stuff for the existing game modes. But that'll be
of course.
Yeah, that'll be it for me, gamers. So thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you. We're gonna go raid someone out there in the VR chat land. I appreciate that for all the follows, the subs, the raid we had earlier. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'll probably be streaming tomorrow, doing some, I don't know. I hang out on the beach in my swimsuit and bounce around because it's Wiggle Wednesday.
Wiggle Wednesday?
Yeah, Wiggle Wednesdays, bro. That's what it's all about. Until I have an interview.
It's a solid play.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you can up the stream intro.
Interview.
Yeah. And if you can stick around for just a minute, Dinky, because I take photos with the guests.
Oh, I'm down. Thanks for having me, by the way, dude. This was really cool.
Absolutely. Okay, we're gonna raid.
Definitely one of the coolest things people are up to in VR chat.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
People do other stuff besides hip wiggling? No way.
What?
Surely.
I do both.
Surely there's more than that going on. Gotta be.
There has to be more. Come on, it's VR.
There's gotta be more to life.